maybe that can get fixed. Sorry about that on the, well, if you're listening to me on YouTube right now, you're seeing my lips move.
And my family might be. They were all very excited about what's come up here, and I've been sending that out. So if they're listening, they will. I think the numbers are going to be going up soon, just strictly because of the Mims family reunion.
Okay, well, I see the audio bouncing right now, so I don't know what Black says. Okay, now he says he hears us. So maybe there was something that was muted. So that's fine. That's why we appreciate the fans, man. They give us that feedback, that instant feedback, and we're only a couple of minutes into the show. So I think that's a great topic for everyone, though. You want to call in 541-343-5673. Give us your go-to karaoke song. Baby J, what's your go-to karaoke song?
I've never done it, so I don't know.
Come on, it's got to be Gary, Indiana, no, Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana.
That's never going to be on a karaoke catalog.
No, they don't have catalogs anymore. Now you just go up and tell them, and they punch it into their thing, and you don't have
anywhere.
To look, any song is available now. You don't even have to look at a catalog anymore.
What would you think my karaoke song would be?
Rocky Raccoon.
Thanks, Mims. I'm a little bit more sophisticated than that. Thanks. I would go. I can belt out a pretty good Yellow Brick Road.
Okay.
From Elton John. Keep Your Hands to Yourself.
They were
the Black Crowes.
Black Crowes. Oh, okay.
Let me just do some digging here.
Okay. What? No. Now you're going to figure out a song that you
I'm
would
going to
like
figure
to do?
because there's songs that come up occasionally that I'm like, well, if I were to do karaoke, then I would do this song.
And listen,
so I have to think about it.
And the songs that always come up, and I'm sure it kind of got Did any Bon Jovi come up in the whole karaoke experience?
I don't think so.
I'm proud of your family.
It was a mostly country group.
Okay. Well, and I guess people who were at Autzen Stadium this weekend got treated. Got Alabama Shakes, and then
Zach Bryan with Dante Moore on stage. I saw.
Yeah, rocking it out, man. It's awesome.
Surprise
country.
That wasn't a surprise appearance.
No, and Dante Moore's been everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. Is it really a surprise that he's there? I wasn't surprised.
I'm not surprised by that. All right. So, by the way, Brad, congratulations. You got a 2-night stay, $100 on your player's card. I know Brad's 21 or over, and they'll be contacting you with all the information that you need to do to cash in your room, which is great. The weather's awesome. And if you want to go down next week, the 7th through the 9th, down at Coquel Casino Resort, Food Cart Fest and
cover bands,
tribute bands all weekend long for $5. You are not going to get a better deal than that, and it's supposed to be gorgeous weather again.
I got it. Okay, so the advice that I was given about karaoke was to never do something that was faster than a speaking pace. Okay. I'm going to break that rule and do Bohemian Rhapsody.
There you go.
That would be the song, though, that I know the lyrics. It would be fun. I would really enjoy doing that.
You'd have background stuff going on, too.
It feels like one of those songs that people would join in.
I think one of the tougher things to do as well is doing a duet in karaoke. Because you got to have somebody that can match your energy and be able to, you got to really know the song.
Well, you should, it's again, Sandbaggers at Crooked River Ranch, pretty much a locals bar, a dive bar. One guy goes up there singing, and his lady is not singing with him, but is dancing with him. So as he's trying to sing, she's like slow dancing with him. That is not what the singer wants. But anyway, shout out to the Baggers if anybody's listening up there.
I'm sure they are. We got plenty of people online right now. And if you have not been able to find us on the YouTube, go do that. It's just pretty simple. Sports Animal EUG. All right, we will give our first segment on the Big Ten Power Rankings. We'll do the first 9 teams as
I'm ready to go.
Idiots. All right.
So you're not the first 9. No. The second 9.
The second 9. Okay.
Through 10.
18 through. Thanks for helping us out. That's Goose. That's Baby J. That's Blaze and Tom in Studio B. I'm Doc. We're just getting underway. Sports Animal EUG and the Sports Animal Network. This is The Drive.
1050 AM and 1029 FM and the SportsAnimalEugene.com. Broadcasting from the Bigfoot Beverages Studios. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Don't look now, but summer is half over. The good news is that you still have plenty of summer left. And with the deals on new Toyotas at Kendall Toyota of Eugene, send off summer with some serious savings and serious fun. Snag $500 in TFS cash and get 1.99% APR on a new 2026 Toyota Tacoma SR5 Double Cab. Looking to step up to a Tundra? Get low 2.99% APR available for 72 months on all new 2026 Toyota Tundra models. Or put your Toyota customer cash to work for $1,000 off TSRP. And that even includes the super popular Toyota Tundra hybrid models. Get in on the summer savings and stop by Kendall Toyota of Eugene today. Kendall, let's start something great.
2.99% APR for 72 months with $1,900 for $1,000 to borrow. Must qualify and finance with Toyota Financial Services. All financing on approved credit, not all customers will qualify. Credit score of 720 or higher may be required to qualify. Price does not include title registration tax or $250 admin fee. Subject to prior sales. See dealer for details. Offer expires April 3/26.
Men like to get the most out of things. We expect results when we hit the gym, and we expect to finish our weekend to-do list. We also expect ourselves to never slow down, even when some things start to get a little harder. Low testosterone levels might be slowing you down. That's when Oregon Man Clinics step in. Sharpen your focus, regain energy levels, and improve your love life with treatment options tailored to you. Get the most out of being a man. Visit us online at our Springfield, Bend, and Albany locations.
At Associated Heating and Electric, we've been the backbone of comfort and efficiency in homes and businesses for nearly 50 years. Our expertise spans everything from certified HVAC repair, installation, and maintenance to electrical, ensuring your space is not just comfortable, but safe too. So when your HVAC decides to quit or your lights throw a fit, we've got you covered. Trust Associated Heating and Air Conditioning, Electric, and so much more. Give us a call today. CCB number 258180.
Where do my friends and other students find their voice? We find our voice through the performing arts, along with millions of other high school students. By expressing yourself in a role on stage, through an instrument, or at the debate podium, the performing arts give us freedom to find ourselves, to find our place. The stage is where I can play, perform, and compete with my friends.
Performing arts at your school is where creativity meets courage. Encourage the students in your life to find their voice through the performing arts. This message presented by the NFHS, where we encourage all students to play, perform, and compete together.
1050 AM, 1029 FM, and the SportsAnimalEugene.com. Other stations can say they cover the Ducks and Beavers, but we bring the receipts. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
I know we'll probably talk this week about Oregon baseball because Miles Gastola has signed his contract with the LA Dodgers, effectively ending his collegiate career. So I think we're pretty much done with all the signings for the Ducks, who lost Ryan Cooney, Cal Scolari, Maddox Maloney, Miles Gastola, Devin Bell, Drew Smith, and Jack Brooks. It's going to be a wildly different team for Mark Waskowski. I think there's going to be two guys on the field that were on the field this year starting, and they're not going to be, well, one of them's not even going to be in the same position. Braden Jackson is going to go behind the plate, and then you got Jax Jimenez. Yeah. Jax Jimenez. And then some pitchers coming back, but that's it. No other position players are going to be, it's all going to be new. So it's going to be interesting to see. All right. Thanks for tuning in. It is the Sports Animal in Eugene on 102.9, 1050 AM. And then out there on the coast, 92.7 KNCU. That's Fox Sports Newport. This is The Drive. I'm Danny. That's Justin over there. Steve back in Studio B. It's Vegas running the controls, and Dom also helping produce the show. All right, guys. So we're going to go 18 through 10 in this first segment. And Blaze, just, this will be a quicker first segment. Once we get to the last bit of number 10 on our list, we'll take a break, and then we'll start going through 9 through 1. Big Ten Media Day start tomorrow in Chicago, as there'll be, 6 teams, 5 teams. They're gonna split everything up. Or I guess it would be 6 teams each day, right?
And the real Big Ten poll, I didn't realize it did come out today. So
I know, I saw that.
You have seen it. Okay, I was going to say, as we give ours, we will say what the They don't actually. The Big Ten doesn't like to do a preseason poll, but
why is that?
It's because they don't want to shame the poor 18th team and announce that a team's going to be the 18th worst.
Somebody's got to be 18.
And then the Big 12 a couple years ago, they stopped doing it because they had ASU.
Wait,
and
sorry, the Monster Energy Big 12.
We
have to say that.
Yeah,
yes.
But then even when
obligated.
ASU won it, then they felt like they still were downgraded because of the pre. So the expectation going away, but. I think 46 reporters were included in this, so it's a good poll anyway.
So
not us though.
Not us. We were maybe we'll get to vote next year. Who knows? We're gonna push for it. So tomorrow it starts with Illinois. These are all Eastern time, so it'll be like 8:30 in the morning. And so just remind you, no show tomorrow because we're going to be doing our last studio renovation. So it's going to be easier for these engineers, and they charge me by the hour. So I'd rather just make sure that they get everything done. Get them. No, these guys are great. I mean, they're absolutely top notch. I'm so happy and blessed to have them working on this studio for us. But it starts with Illinois tomorrow at 8:30, Iowa at 11:45, Penn State at noon, Rutgers, USC, and Wisconsin on day one. We're going to try and catch up on all the audio through the rest of the week because we want to give all of the teams, now that we have a 3-hour show, we can actually give everybody, their due. Normally we would kind of pick and choose a little bit, but I think there'll be some interesting things to say, and there's some good storylines that we'll go over here in this segment. Wednesday it'll be Michigan State, Minnesota, Ohio State, Oregon, Purdue, and UCLA. UCLA will be there, and then they'll close up on Thursday with Indiana, Maryland, Michigan, Nebraska, Northwestern, and Washington. There will be a test later on this, kids. So remember, Austin Meek next hour, and the last hour we'll have the great Kerry Eggers to start out the 5 o'clock hour here on The Drive. All right, guys, we'll just go around the room. We can probably all say it at once who number 18 is. I think, I would imagine.
Should we do it on 3?
Let's do it. One, two, three.
Northwestern.
Okay.
Really?
Northwestern? Yeah. You think they're going to be that bad?
I saw that picture of Chip Kelly the other day. That does not look like a guy who's very excited about
just
his
because
offense.
he was in his hard hat and his safety vest?
So who did you say?
I said Purdue.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I heard you say Purdue too.
Yeah. No, I don't like Northwestern. The new stadium, I think. Okay. I'm out on Northwestern.
Okay, so you got did you pull up the Big Ten?
Yeah,
I didn't print it.
Purdue was the official 18.
Okay, I'm gonna put Goose here. See, I got Purdue a lot higher up. I mean, they're not in my top 10, but they're not.
Northwestern?
Northwestern, pardon me. I'm correcting. I'm looking at it as Purdue. Purdue is number 18 by consensus, and that's what the Big Ten says as well. All right, number 17. I'll start with you, Goose. Who do you got?
I have Purdue. I wasn't going to move them that far up.
Okay. All right. So Goose has got Purdue. So, I mean, listen, they have a much more manageable schedule than they've had in the last couple of seasons. But this is a program that really, Ryan Brown's your offense now. And can Dave Odom's a good coach.
I like Dave Odom.
So, but I just don't think he has enough things in the kitchen right now. Well, that's what I mean. Okay, that. So, and there's been some stuff about Kevin Kane, the defensive coordinator, and there's some question marks about him. So Purdue is right down there near the bottom. We have him at 18. You have him at 17. So, Baby J, who do you got at 17?
I have 17 as the same team that was 17 last year, the Maryland Terrapins.
Okay. I've got Rutgers at 17. They've got a defensive rebuild they've got to do. They bring in a new D coordinator. They've got to face Ohio State, Oregon, and Michigan this season. So Rutgers is going to have a tough time, I believe. All right. So who does the Big Ten media say?
Rutgers.
Okay. So we're there. 16. I think we're going to have a consensus.
I finally got one right this one.
You did? Okay. So let's start with Baby J. Who do you got? 16?
I have Rutgers.
You got Rutgers there. I got Michigan State. I think
Michigan State.
Okay, I think Pat Fitzgerald is. I think he can turn that program around pretty fast, but it's not going to be this year.
No, and I don't even know that I believe in the Pat Fitzgerald. He's kind of comes from a program where if you were good once every 6 years, it was good, and now he's at a place that's going to demand a little more. Obviously, they kicked Jonathan Smith out of there in 2 years because he couldn't get going. So I'm not big on Pat Fitzgerald, and I definitely do not like this roster. So give me Michigan State at 16.
So they've got their first 6 games, 4 of their first 6 games at Spartan Stadium, including Illinois and Northwestern back-to-back. They got Nebraska at home, and they got Rutgers on the road. And then after that, they face, here's the schedule for Michigan State. Michigan, Washington, Oregon, UCLA.
Yep.
Bye-bye. All right, so we're right in the middle of our 18 through 10 in the Big Ten. If you agree, disagree, you can go ahead and hop on the old chat there on YouTube, or you can give us a call on the Oregon Athletics hotline at 541-343-14 5673. All right, so we are up to number, what, 15 now?
Correct.
Yes.
15. I will start, and I have at 15 the Maryland Terrapins. Michael Locksley in his last year, probably at Maryland. I believe he's not gonna make a bowl. They had that high watermark a couple of years ago. I just don't see how they can get out of it.
I have Maryland at 15 as well. I will say he had a good freshman class last year, and surprisingly, he was able to retain a lot of them. So it's almost like he's doing what nobody does anymore, which is actually play freshmen and then retain them even when other schools come in.
Yep.
So for that, I would like to see him do well. I would like to see that method work again for somebody, but I'm with you. I think this is a make it or break it year for him, and if he finishes 15th, he's not going to make it.
They went 4-8 last year, and so just to your point, Goose, is can they turn those young kids into experienced kids who can win? Baby J, who do you got?
At 15?
Yeah.
I have Wisconsin.
Wow.
Yeah. They kept
Wow,
Luke Fickell.
you are saying Luke Fickell is out the door.
I'm saying
year.
Luke Fickell is not going to figure it out this year. And they start off, by the way, the season with Notre Dame. So good luck with that, Wisconsin. I am rooting for you. I still have my roots there, but I have major concerns, as you can tell.
All right, I'll start out with 14. I've got Northwestern here. So not as low as Goose had them, right at the bottom. But, I mean, they got a new fancy schmancy stadium. It's not quite done yet. They'll get to play in it starting in October. And they got Chip Kelly, in the past has been a sexy hire for an offensive coordinator. But listen, a couple of years removed from helping Ryan Day win a national championship at Ohio State. So, I mean, he still can be a mad scientist in there. Oh, yeah. See, that's where I kind of backtrack a little bit. I'm not a big Aiden Childs at quarterback guy. This is what
better than what they had, though.
So this is Aiden Childs' third school in 3 years, right?
No.
And he's still 20, I think.
Oh, did he?
Where was he last?
19?
No, he was at Michigan State. No, so it's his third school.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot the Oregon State part. I was thinking second coach. I'm thinking second coach because it's only been 2 coaches.
No, okay, so it's his.
Yes,
it's his,
Oregon State, Michigan State here, but only his second coach because he did have Jonathan Smith.
And he didn't really play a ton at Oregon State either.
but
So I got to backtrack. It's his third school in 4 years because he was at Michigan State with Jonathan Smith for his 2 years.
Yeah.
And so when Jonathan Smith got let go, he jumped into the portal and he ends up staying in the Big Ten. But last year, Northwestern was 7-6. It's going to be, can the offense be more explosive? I just don't think. I mean, maybe Aiden Childs.
They were better than you
fit.
thought last year.
Well, they were. So
when they played Oregon, it was not this as ugly of a game as you would have thought.
I don't disagree with that, but I'm wondering if Aiden Childs would fit. Do you think Aiden Childs fits in a Chip Kelly offense?
Well,
I don't know. I think it's better than last year, though.
I think Chip's philosophy has always been to, take advantage of your athlete's skills. So I guess so, but I would have thought that he would have performed better in the Jonathan Smith offense in 3 years. So maybe it's more of, I'm not sure how good he is since he hasn't done a whole lot in that offense.
I like David Brown as a coach. He's 500 in his 4th year. I think he's a player's coach as well. I think he speaks to the players. I think they get motivated to play for him, but I also think Northwestern has the same problem that a school like Stanford or others do in terms of
academic.
How many athletes can you really recruit to it because of the tough admission standards? It's not like you can fill a roster with 75 scholarship players and they can all have a 2.5 GPA. They got to be smart.
It's what you hear whenever they have a press conference is how great it is to have this Northwestern education. So, which it is, but at the same time, you know where you are at as a football school at that point.
This is The Drive, Sports Animal Eugene, and out on the coast at KNCU, Fox Sports Newport. All right, let's go to number 13, and we'll start with you, Goose. This is our rankings, by the way.
Did we do 14?
Yeah, we did.
We didn't. I haven't said my 14.
Oh, so number 14. Sorry, I guess I spouted off and I didn't let you guys do yours. Okay. Goose. I mean,
you're looking at me and
I'm looking at Goose.
I'm going UCLA.
Okay.
So this is my version of not believing in UCLA, I guess. I mean, I don't think they're going to go lower than this, but this is about as low as I think UCLA can go.
Okay.
I'm going Rutgers, which I guess is my version of believing in Rutgers.
It is.
But
at number 14.
I think Rutgers gets each year a game or two because of the travel out there that they just they knocked off USC. I think it was a couple years ago, or Maryland did. I think they end up taking advantage of being kind of the one that teams don't want to travel to, and it's not a great atmosphere, and they get a weird win or two.
Okay, so what does the media poll say for number 14?
Media poll
or whatever they call it, the big time. I think it's the media. This is not the coaches.
It is a media poll. Yes,
it's a media poll.
A media poll.
Okay,
number 14 is Northwestern.
Okay, and again, you give us your number 13 then. We're racing through
My
this.
number 13 is UCLA. I was
Totally.
tempted to have them higher. I like Bob Chesney, and I think that this maybe becomes the year for Nico. You know, we know it's a talented quarterback, but last year was kind of a weird year coming in, and then everything else. Maybe he resurrects him, and I had this feeling where I could see them going higher, but I just don't think in year one he's got the talent to be higher than that.
So they can. So the program, you know what the best record under Chip Kelly was?
For UCLA,
Yeah.
probably like 7-5.
Yeah.
It was with Dante Moore, right?
Yeah. That's what it was. So an 8-5 season would be the program's best since Chip Kelly in 2023.
God.
Wouldn't that be just
This is who the Big Ten wanted over Oregon.
yeah?
Let's not forget it.
3-9 last year under Deshaun Foster, who
At LA Market.
Deshaun
quick.
Foster / Jerry Neuheisel / Tim Skipper.
Yeah. So who do you got?
At my 13 now,
Yeah, 13.
my 13 is Michigan State.
Okay.
So I believe in them slightly
A
more
little
than
bit
you
more.
guys. Yeah.
And I've got Ookla at 13 as well. 13 for the media was
13 was Wisconsin.
oh, there you go, a little bit. So I'll go to my 12 immediately, and I've got Wisconsin there. I guess I believe a little bit more in Luke Fickell than you do, but it's still not going to.
But still not really believing in Luke
It's
Fickell.
still not going to get him a bowl game. I think that I actually think Luke Fickell's out after this year. He's 17-21. He's not going to probably have a winning record this year.
You just can't change the entire identity of Wisconsin football like that and expect it to work. There's a reason why they recruited a bunch of farm boy offensive linemen for years and years and years, because those guys exist and that's what works.
Since the college football playoff era started, Wisconsin had been one of the winningest programs to not make the playoff.
Yep.
I mean, in their history. So that just tells you something. The game is not the same as it was in the late 2010s. And Fickell tried to change that identity, say we're going to pass more and everything else. It has
Air
not
raid
worked.
offense.
It has not worked in Madison. All right. So who do you got at 12?
12, I have Illinois.
Ooh.
I was not a
You're
big
not in.
Brett Bielema
No,
buyer
yeah,
last year, and
he
they
wasn't.
weren't that great. And I just am not. I think they had a really nice team 2 years ago, but I don't feel like they're at a spot now where they're funding enough to kind of just be regular. I think they're one of these once every few years, and I see them dropping even further this year.
All right. Who do you got?
At number 12,
Yeah.
I have Nebraska.
Okay. Any particular reason?
I just don't really believe in Matt Rule. I don't know. I mean, they also lost their quarterback to Oregon, by the way. So I don't know.
Who's going to come play backup?
Right, exactly. So I think, doesn't that say a lot,
It
about
does.
the program?
All right, Goose. Who does the media say?
UCLA.
UCLA. All right, so we're flopping around a little bit. All right, number 11. Goose, go ahead.
My number 11 is the Nebraska Cornhuskers, another team I was tempted to say, because last year, again, I was all in on Nebraska. I thought this team, this is the year Matt Rule makes the jump. They were worse than they should have been. But because Penn State opened, they just opened up and gave him more money. And I think the more money you give Matt Rule, the less he works. And so I think they're going to drop down to 11.
Well, so the only thing they've got, and I also got them there, the only thing I think they've got in their favor is they don't head on the road until October 17th. Their entire non-conference is at home, and then their first few Big Ten games are at home. They don't stay away from Memorial Stadium until the middle of October. That can get you on a little bit of a run. So you can catapult that and then sneak a game here or there that you probably shouldn't win, but I still don't see them inside the top 10. So I also have them at number 11. Baby J.
Number 11, I have Northwestern, so I believe in them. I
Wow,
guess
a
a
little bit
decent
more.
amount more than you guys.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. They were better than I thought last year.
Well, that's interesting.
I guess I believe in Chip Kelly more than you guys. Maybe the photo convinced me more than Goose.
So, I mean, Goose has got them dead last. I've got them at 14. You got them at 11. So
It's not that much higher, but a little bit.
And
I
look,
mean,
the
Goose
difference
is
between 18 and 11 in an 18-team 9-game
Yeah.
conference could be the difference between 1-8 and 2-7. So
That's very true. Media, what do they have at number 11?
they have our Nebraska Cornhuskers.
There we go. Beautiful. So let's do number 10, then we'll take a break. Go ahead, Baby J. Give us number 10.
My number 10 is Minnesota.
Absolutely. I have them right there as well.
Guess what? We finally got a sweep. We finally got a sweep. And the Big Ten has them at number 10 as well.
All
So
right. Look at us.
PJ
See, you know
Fleck
what?
is a consensus number 10.
just outside single digits. All right, we'll take our first break of this little segment where we're breaking down what we think the power rankings or the top teams are in the Big Ten. So now we're into single digits. 9 through 1. Ooh. Being here in Eugene, Oregon. Wonder who we're going to put at number 1. Or could we have a tie at the top? The Brain Trust here on The Drive will let you know. If you want to hop into the conversation, please do. 541-343-5673. Big Ten Power Rankings, segment 2 coming up next here on The Drive.
Don't change the channel. Your radio might explode. Okay, not real. But you miss a minute of The Drive, you might miss something, well, spectacular.
On we go.
The Drive is back on 102.9 FM and 1050 AM. The Sports Animal.
Summer. The sun. The sand. How could things be any better? Actually, you know what sounds kind of good? Chicken bones. Yeah, that would make things better. All you could eat wings for $27.95 and dollar beers from Cold Fire Cold Store? That would really make things better. Ooh, and the sauces. The sauces are to die for. In fact, now I'm kind of hungry. Oh man, now I need to go to Chicken Bones.
Make no bones about it, Chicken Bones has the best wings in Lane County. All you can eat wings, great sauces, and awesome burgers. Open daily at 11 a.m. on Pioneer Parkway in the Safeway Center. Check us out on Facebook or call 541-726-0111. That's 541-726-0111. Chicken Bones, chicken with an attitude.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
The next disaster is coming. The time to get ready is now. Make a plan. Identify meetup locations and people you'll need to contact. Put your contact list in your wallet, on your phone, and somewhere visible in your home. Build a kit. Store enough food and water for 3 days. Don't forget your pets. And consider buying a pre-made kit. Keep at least 7 days of medication on hand. Work with your pharmacist and insurance company to secure the extra doses. Make copies of important documents. Keep them on your phone, in the cloud, or on a USB stick. Stay informed. Learn about local hazards. Take courses in CPR and first aid. And sign up for local alert systems. An early warning can give you the time you need to prepare for a fast-moving disaster. Be ready. Learn more at americares.org/send-us-in.
As a parent, you said you'd never give up the convertible. Look, the van even has its own back. You said you'd never schedule your life around a stuffed animal. Nobody panic. Bun is still at daycare. And never put them in harm's way. I'll be right back, little man. Just gonna pop in the store for diapers. But never happens. Temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you every time you park the car. Stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Sometimes they're right.
Rest my case.
Sometimes they're wrong.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
But no ears were harmed in the making of their disagreements.
I don't know what we're yelling about.
You're listening to The Drop on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Welcome back, kids. No show tomorrow here on The Drive.
School's out for summer. Sorry. Maybe that's my karaoke song.
No, I can guarantee you right now that's not one of your karaoke songs. Put that one on shelf.
Come on.
It's Doc, it's Baby Jane, it's Goose. Hawk and Vegas are in the other studios. Yes, we all have nicknames. So maybe you get one too. You never know. Call in enough, maybe you will. Or if you bug me enough, maybe you will. 541-343-5673 is I didn't say that. You did. 541-343-5673 is your Oregon Man Clinic's hotline. That'll be the last day for that phone number, by the way. So you're going to have to erase that from your speed dial. We're going to give you a new number on Wednesday. No show tomorrow. We will be watching the other guys finish off the brand new studios. We're kind of temporarily in a studio, which is much bigger, much nicer, and much more
very
airy.
nice in here.
So you can see it on YouTube right now. So wave to the kids, everybody.
How's your temperature, Goose?
I'm feeling good today.
Good.
You didn't wave to the kids, baby J. I said wave to the kids. There. Jeez.
Yeah, I was hotter driving
give
in than I am in here, so this is good.
So you're good?
Jazz hands.
Yeah, no, it's like the Miss America or something.
Is that what they were doing? Oh no, they
what I'm
were doing
talking
like they were doing like Miss Japan, and they were all like in a line, and they were both doing the
double
it's like,
hands.
I can't stand it. So,
Come on.
No. Just vanity contests is what those are. All right, we're going through our rankings of the Big Ten. Media Day start tomorrow in Chicago, so we'll be having lots of audio starting on Wednesday. We'll play catch up on Wednesday. Later on this week, Adam Sussman, and we're going to have the great Neil Everett on the program, either Thursday or Friday. I was literally just talking to him in a break. So, we'll have Neil Everett on the program later on this week as well. Landon Tengwall will join us, working on Josh Pate for Friday as well. So we'll have big shows to finish off the week. All right, we're at number 9, guys, in the top 10. We have had some discussion about 10 through 18, which when we do our Big Ten power rankings, if you haven't done them with us this year, so this year when we do our Big Ten power rankings, we don't necessarily rank anybody 10 through 18. We just say, here's everybody in the muck, 10 through 18, and here's our top 10. So there we go. All right, so number 9, I've got Illinois at number 9. Baby J?
You know, I've been talking to Illinois. I actually have them a little bit higher, but on my paper, I'm going to verbally tell you Illinois now.
Oh, you changed it. You dropped them a little bit?
I dropped them one spot, yeah.
Oh, did Goose convince you of this?
Goose
with the Brett
convinced me of
Bielema
this.
talk?
Yeah, and I love Brett Bielema. That's my guy. But you're right. I mean, this isn't a program that year in and year out, they've been on kind of a high. I could see them being a little disappointing this year.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so who's 9 for you, Goose?
Penn State Nittany Lions.
Woo!
I don't see the Matt Campbell first season bringing over all the Iowa State guys.
Iowa State East.
I don't see that working well in year one. And again, 18-team league, 9th place could be 5-4. I'm not saying they're going to go 3-8, but I'm not a buyer in Matt Campbell's first year, and I'm interested to see what his budget and recruiting looks like there because I'm not sure that I'm sold on him being there.
So, okay, you know what their non-con looks like this year?
Yeah, it's
Marshall,
Tennessee
Temple,
South, Pennsylvania North, and Pennsylvania West.
Not that bad, but it is Marshall at Temple and then Buffalo.
It's a great move if you're a first-year coach.
Yeah. So you know what's interesting as well? Guess who they don't have to play? And this is the only reason why I probably have them higher. They do not have to play Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan State, Nebraska, Ohio State, Oregon, or UCLA. Are you kidding me right now?
So they play Michigan?
They play Michigan, and they play, Purdue.
Sure.
They play North. They miss out just the top ones. Indiana, Nebraska, Ohio State, and UCLA. But,
So they get like USC, they get Washington, but they don't get the big boys.
No, they absolutely do not. That's just nuts to me. All right, so I've got, I said Illinois. Who do the media have at 9?
Number 9, the media.
And then we'll drive into 876-54321.
Media had Illinois at 9, so
Okay.
you guys hit that one.
All right, so let's just go right into number 8 for you, Goose.
I have, and this I guess my surprise team, I have the Wisconsin Badgers.
Wow.
I like
That is
really-
wildly different than me.
I know.
You
I
really
like
love Luke Fickell.
I like their defense. I think last year they said, hey, we're not getting fired him because we haven't given him enough support. So I'm assuming that means they gave him more NIL
More money?
this year. I know he brought in a quarterback from, I believe it was from an FCS school who had some success there. He has a good young defense. And so give me Luke Fickell to get Wisconsin going at number 8.
I hope you're right.
Number
Good
8?
record.
Number 8?
My number 8, I have Iowa.
So do I.
That's who the media had to.
Okay, so they finished 2025 9-4, just outside, and I actually have them as one of my sleeper teams to make it into the college football playoff this season. So we'll see about that. All right, so let's move quickly to number 7. I've got Washington at 7. There were a few hiccups last year. They were great in their second season in the Big Ten. They got their quarterback back. Playing Indiana anywhere is going to be a problem, but there's a shot that Huskies will be dealing with the two best teams in college football, playing Oregon and then dealing with the Hoosiers. That's going to be interesting as well. 4 of their last 6, 5 of their last 7 are away from home. That's going to be the tough part of the schedule for Jed Fish. So who do you got?
I have
7.
USC. I'm thinking that this is not the. I don't believe this Lincoln Riley's freshman class is going to make a huge impact.
That's
this year.
interesting because there's a lot of people that are really high on that USC team.
I know,
this
and
year.
I think I like the quarterback Mayaba, and I'd say it's a good freshman class. I think right now, if you want to jump up, you need to have a good portal class, and then you supplement it with the freshmen. I hear more about the freshman class than the portal, and I just don't trust Lincoln Riley to overachieve. Put it that way.
Okay.
So I also have Washington, as I said earlier, but I just want to point out that I think they're my team that, like, on paper, I think this is where I have them, but I am not going to forget about the DeMond Williams situation where he signed basically with LSU, where he tried to, he basically left the team when they were
they held him hostage.
It was when they were having the memorial for that soccer player. It was like a terrible PR move for him. I just wonder, in that locker room, are they good with DeMond? Like, are they going to be good with him? So in other words, the offensive linemen are going to do Olay blocks? Listen, if there's a situation out there in the Big Ten where I feel like a team could be way lower, like if they basically were like 14, I wouldn't be shocked.
Okay. Well, the first few weeks are going to set the stage for that. We are up to number 6 in the drives. Look at the full rankings from our opinion on where they sit right now in the Big Ten before we even played a snap. So you can jump on in if you want, 541-343-5673. We still have a lot of time for open phones this hour. Top of next hour, it's going to be Austin Meek, and he's covering the University of Michigan for The Athletic. And there's some news coming out of the soon-to-be departed Ward Manuel as the athletic director there at Michigan. And I think I speak for most people who are taxpayers probably in the state of Michigan, that they're probably none too happy to see a $7 million buyout for a guy that's getting ushered out the door for basically being incompetent. So let's get to number 6 in the rankings. Let's start with you, Baby J.
My number 6, I thought I'd be maybe one of the lowest, but I have Penn State. So, Goose, you got me beat on Penn State. I mean, I could see it falling apart with Dan Campbell, but it's still Penn State. So I have them in that what I would call top tier of the top 6, but
only reason just for the things I just said before, Penn State, I've got them at 6 because of their schedule. I just think they're gonna be a paper line. If they get it into the postseason anywhere, more than likely it's gonna be a bowl game. They're gonna get whacked by someone, but I don't see it. So where does the media say number 6 is?
Media had Penn State at 7, Washington at 6, and I have Washington at 6.
Oh, sorry, I jumped past yours. Washington at 6.
I'm with you on the DeMond Williams. I just think there's been enough time now that if it could have healed it, and I think if it had still been divisive, you might have heard more about it, but it feels like they've kind of squashed that. And again, how do the teammates feel about him? Depends on if he's playing great and they're winning, they're probably with him. If there starts to be a fracture, I'm with you. It could fall apart. But I came down to that. I was looking at the Huskies and USC, and I think USC is going to be. I think Washington is going to be better than USC this year.
And I don't think that for the other part of that as well is that there's nothing that a little jewelry can't help solve, right?
That's very true.
I mean, to me, that or the offensive lineman. Hey, you want to watch? Hey, I'll go get you a Rolex.
Monetary.
And I don't know if he can afford it. He didn't get the extra $2 million from LSU.
Sure,
he probably figures he can't afford it.
Can't afford it. All right. It's the drive here on Sports Animal Eugene out on the coast. It's Fox Sports Newport. Thanks for hanging in with us. And we are almost to the top now. We're at number. So did we say who number 6 was?
Yes,
media?
6 was Washington.
Washington. All right. So let's go to number 5. Goose, go ahead and start us off.
I have the Iowa Hawkeyes at number 5.
Okay.
I am in on Kirk Ferentz. I think he's line and defense, and he just tends to get things done in year 22.
Mm-hmm.
And again, these things are all subjective because it's such a big conference. When you say like Iowa's 5 and Penn State's 9, it sounds like you're saying, "Oh my God, they're so much better than them."
No,
these could all be one-game differences here. I haven't analyzed the schedule yet as much as you have, but I just like Iowa and Kirk Ferentz there.
Okay, Baby J.
I have USC.
Okay, and I've got Michigan. So this is one we were all 3 disagree.
And the media had Michigan.
Did they? Okay. Well, I think for Michigan, I love Kyle Whittingham. I think he is going to get them kind of almost back to where Michigan in their heyday was, but you got Bryce Underwood. And listen, I was out on Bryce Underwood at quarterback. I think you want to talk about losing a team. I think he was more about him than his team, although he's an uber talented player. I think maybe, especially with the leadership of Kyle Whittingham now at the head coaching position, I think that's going to get tempered, and I think they're going to play more like a team this year. So I'd be scared of Michigan. That's going to be one on the Oregon schedule as well. You want to circle because they will have a few games under their belt, and Coach Whittingham knows a few things about Oregon that he can bring to the table, especially the last couple of years at Utah. Disagree?
Well, I have them higher than you, so no.
Okay. All right. Well, who does the media have at 5?
Media has Michigan at 5.
Okay.
And I have Michigan at 4.
Okay, so that's where we go, right there, number 4.
I think they were 9-3 last year with some crazy dysfunction going on, unlike any other program maybe he's ever had. And now you bring in a functional coach. He kept the quarterback. He brought his best edge rusher from Utah with him. He brought the BYU defensive coordinator with him. I think he's brought a lot of personnel and didn't lose as much. So I like Kyle Whittingham's chances.
Okay, what about you, Baby J, at 4?
Should I go 4 and then 3 real quick?
Sure.
I'll go Indiana at 4, and I might be underrating them. I just, at this point, they're one of those teams I just don't know at this point because what they did last year was so unbelievable. But I have them at 4, and I have Michigan at 3.
Okay, and so I'll dive right. So who had polls for the media
USC,
guys?
USC
at 4. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to go USC 4, Indiana 3. And I still believe in Kurt Cignetti somewhat. I mean, he's going to push everybody up to the top.
How can you not?
So I think honestly, I could exchange 3 through 5. To me, I could put them in any order the way I have them. I'd say that's probably where they're going to sit. Who do you got at 3?
I have the Oregon Ducks at 3.
Okay.
We'll get to Indiana later. I don't think Oregon wins at the shoe, so they fall behind them. And I'm a Cignetti guy, so I won't tell you yet which one's 1 and which one's 2, but I have Oregon behind those 2.
Okay, what about 3, Baby J?
I already said Michigan.
Okay, sorry. Oregon at 2 for me. Actually, I have 1 and 1A. I have Ohio State at 1. I have Oregon at
1
1A.
and 1A. It's 1, 2 through 18.
Listen.
They have a conference championship game to determine 1 and 2. They don't give the loser a 1A ring. They tell them the runner-up.
You're the boss here, but you can't do that.
Well, I guess there's a mutiny on board here on the drive already. All right, fine. If I'm going to be forced to, I say Ohio State 1, Oregon 2. I think the biggest thing for me for Oregon is going to be, can they meld all of the? Now, listen, I know the incumbent coordinators were elevated to full coordinators on the defensive offensive side of the football, but it's about, okay, is the scheme going to change greatly? I still think there's holes in the middle of Oregon's defense that has to be answered. I think the lines are going to be fine, except the offensive line. Again, it's the same punch-up mentality they had last year. They got to prove skill positions. I have no issues with the skill positions, but then the other thing, they got to stay healthy. I mean, they were a banged up unit last year, and they got by games just by the skin of their teeth, and then they got exposed by Indiana twice. So you got to prove to me that's why. Otherwise, when people want to shout me down on that, that's why you got to prove to me first that you can beat Ohio State once, like you said. At least then we'll know. So I see both those teams being undefeated heading into the shoe, though. Is what I think. I don't think Oregon's going to drop another game before that.
I believe that.
So
am I going to be the only one that takes a stand here?
Give
me the Ducks.
Fine.
Give me the Ducks at number 1. I think they're the best team in the country.
So who's the media say?
Indiana says Ohio State 1, Oregon 2, Indiana 3. I have Ohio State 2, Indiana 1. I'm all in on Cignetti. I think he knows his personnel better than any media poll does. I'm betting on Cignetti until he doesn't do it.
Okay, got to take our break. Back on the drive.
Nothing is too big for the sports animal to handle. That's what she said. You're home for me, Dan Patrick, 6 to 9 a.m. weekdays, and The Drive with Danny, Steve, and Justin from 3 to 6. This is the sports animal.
Summer nights are better with baseball. Join the Springfield Drifters as we celebrate our 5th season of baseball at Hamlin Sports Complex this season. Looking for affordable family fun entertainment all summer long? Well, we got a steal the deal for you. Located on the corner of Pioneer Parkway and Centennial in Springfield, the Drifters are proud to be your community baseball team. So what are you waiting for? Get your tickets today at driftersbaseball.com. That's driftersbaseball.com. Let's get drifty.
Iconic summer moments deserve an iconic drink. Reach for Mountain Dew, an American original. From its beginnings in the foothills of Tennessee to your biggest summer yet. The refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew is the perfect companion to your American summer adventures. Enjoy the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. Tasting great since '48. Look for Mountain Dew in stores near you at mountaindew.com. That's mountaindew.com.
If your credit card bills have gotten out of hand, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it'll take years to get out of debt. Call Consolidated Credit now. They've helped over 10 million people without destroying your credit. They can reduce your interest rates, lower your total payments up to 50% to get you out of debt fast. For a free consultation, call Consolidated Credit now. The program works.
Call 800-499-4107. 800-499-4107. 800-499-4107.
Consolidated Credit Solutions Incorporated, 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33313. Licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Kansas CSO 0019051. Maryland DM 1492. Oregon DM 892. Licensed by the Virginia State Corporation Commission, license number DC83. Service may adversely affect the individual's credit. Non-payment of debt may lead to additional finance charges or collections activity, including legal action. Actual interest rates, length of program, and monthly payment reductions will vary by consumer and creditor. Yours could be higher or lower. Not a loan company. We do not lend money.
The Amazon's rainforest is being cut down so fast that by 2030, 55% of it could be completely wiped out. The Earth's forests can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
I want you to imagine for a moment you're in a hospital. You are the patient connected to an IV bag. There's a constant parade of serious doctors, countless tests, endless pokes, and a serious diagnosis. Scary surgeries are followed by painful recoveries. You're in the hospital for days, weeks, months. Now imagine experiencing all of these things and you're only a child. This is why Starlight exists, to bring happiness to hospitalized children through programs that help kids cope, build resilience, and change their outlook. Because happiness matters. Visit starlight.org to learn more.
Don't change the channel. Your radio might explode. Okay, not real. But you miss a minute of the drive, you might miss something, well, spectacular.
On we go.
The Drive is back on 102.9 FM and 1050 AM. The Sports Animal.
All right, quick timeout. Austin Meek from The Athletic next as we head to the top of the hour, hour number 2 on The Drive. Stay tuned wherever and however. Sports Animal in Eugene and in Newport on KNCU Fox Sports Newport.
1050 AM, 1029 FM, and the SportsAnimalEugene.com. Other stations can say they cover the Ducks and Beavers, but we bring the receipts. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
It kind of sneaks up on you. You're more tired than you should be, a little less focused, a little less motivated. Maybe you've gained a little weight. It's normal. A lot of men experience it, but that doesn't mean you have to live with it. At Hale Men's Clinic, personalized testosterone therapy can help you restore your energy, your clarity, your edge. Real solutions, real results. Hale Men's Clinic. Feel good now. Curious about your levels? Walk into Hale Men's Clinic in Eugene, Bend, or Roseburg for your free testosterone test today. More info at halemensclinic.com.
I've seen it, I've covered it. I'm Alex Rogers, your local farmer's agent in West Eugene. When you need auto, home, life, or business insurance, Farmers can help you protect everything you've worked so hard to achieve. I really enjoy what I do, and I can help you understand all your coverage options. When I'm your farmer's agent, you're not stuck at the mercy of some computer. I'm your advocate when you need help. Visit my office today at 1154 Garfield Street here in Eugene, or give me a call at 541-284-2804.
Hi, I'm Kim Holderness.
And I am Penn Holderness.
And we're here to remind you to get your cancer screenings.
Now, we don't have cancer, but we do want to keep it that way.
And while you don't have to race to the doctor.
Oh, but I like races, honey, especially when they're amazing races.
I see what you did there. But you do need to make time for routine screenings. I schedule my annual mammogram and gyno appointments every year around my birthday and then treat myself to lunch.
Well, that sounds like fun. Can I get in on that? I mean, I like lunch.
Well, you have a colon and you're over 45 and you have lungs.
Yeah.
And didn't you smoke in college?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so seriously, Penn, if there is something, early detection can make all the difference.
Okay, I'll get screened.
This C word can be scary, but routine screenings for breast, cervical, colorectal, lung, and prostate cancers can detect cancer early, even before symptoms appear.
Please visit preventcancer.org to find out which cancer screenings you need.
Because early detection equals better outcomes.
This is a Sports Animal Sports Bite.
I'm Dominic Jackson.
The North Carolina Tar Heels football general manager Michael Lombardi was placed on administrative leave this morning. The school's decision stems from a human resources complaint filed by a former UNC front office employee. An investigation is pending. And Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy's wife was shot Sunday night in the family's home back in Virginia by their son. Mia Bieniemy was reported in stable condition. Their son Elijah was arrested and charged on multiple counts. Eric Bieniemy has left the Chiefs training camp with no date of return. And Michigan Athletic Director Ward Manuel will be paid $7 million for his firing at the university. The school announced July 20th that it would be buying out the remaining 3 years on Manuel's contract. This comes after numerous NCAA scandals and investigations under Ward's time as AD. Sports Bites every hour or when news breaks. Follow us at Sports Animal EUG. I'm Dominic Jackson.
KORE Springfield, Eugene, 1050 AM, translated on 275 CX 1029 FM. This is the Sports Animal, Eugene.
What's up, neighbors? Hour number 2 of The Drive, Sports Animal in Eugene, out there on the coast. Fox Sports Newport. No show tomorrow. We will be under construction in more, actually, literally and figuratively. We will be under construction tomorrow. So back with an all-new show, all-new technology on Wednesday, where we are going to unveil a couple of new ways for you to be able to participate in the show. Right now, we've got the Oregon Man Clinics hotline, and we're tying that up right now at 541-343-5673 as we welcome in our good friend. And out of everybody in this room, I always want to say this because I've known Austin longer than either of you, although Austin Meek works side by side with our great goose, Steve Mims. He is the staff writer covering Michigan for The Athletic. We go way back to Kansas together, and he joins us now on the Oregon Man Clinics hotline. Austin, I heard there was something. I think Goose wants to say hello first because I think there's a question he has to ask you.
Yes, Austin, I just want to know, how close did you get to number 318 from Salvi Perez when you were sitting out in the bleachers at Tiger Stadium on Saturday? How close did you get to it?
I could see it coming in. It landed about probably about 15 feet away from where we were sitting. It was, I mean, I would love to say we planned it that way. We really didn't. When the Royals come to Detroit, we try to hit a game every year, and this was the one we picked. And I realized when we were going, like, oh, there's a chance he might hit 318 today. And we happened to be sitting in left field. When that ball left the bat, I was like, wow, that's got a chance. And it's coming right out here. The guy who caught it was about to throw it back on the field, and then some guy in Royal gear came up and physically stopped him from doing it. Like, hey, you need to hang on to that ball because that's going to be worth something.
Nice for Salvi breaking George Brett's record there. Well, as I told you on Saturday, Austin, for a guy who's had to cover Jim Harbaugh, Sharon Moore, Dusty May's departure, and now Ward Manuel, I'm glad you at least got one day to enjoy sports with your family without having to worry about a controversy.
Yeah, I timed my vacation pretty good this year. We were up north in Michigan the end of last week, and I left like the day after all the Ward Manual stuff broke. So I was around
Beautiful.
To deal with that mess. And then, yeah, I did get a few quiet days in there, which was nice.
So the announcement was made after I guess, a Freedom of Information Act request because University of Michigan did not want to release this information and the details that they're going to be writing a check for $7.14 million as a part of a separation agreement with the current Michigan Athletic Director, Ward Manuel, after this 3-year or 2.5-year investigation, millions of dollars spent on attorneys to investigate the Michigan program from top to bottom. And this was, the tip of the sword was Sharon Moore's relationship with his executive assistant and a probe into the athletic department. So I guess I'm just still puzzled. How do people, when they're found at fault, and this obviously was because they are separating from him, he gets to stay in his job until the end of 2026, and he gets a big, fat check, Austin. Why?
Because Ward Manuel actually had quite a bit of leverage here. Ward Manuel knows a lot of things about Michigan. He not only knows where all the bodies are buried, I think he has a map and a direction to every last one of them. You know, like he's been here through all of the stuff. And Michigan is getting sued right now in a couple different cases and may have more. And so if Ward Manuel wanted to air some dirty laundry or decide he wanted to turn on Michigan in any of those situations, I have a feeling he probably knows some things that Michigan would not want out there. So I interpret this whole agreement that came out as Michigan and Ward Manuel got together and said, all right, how much money is it going to cost for Ward Manuel to leave and leave quietly? And it turns out the price tag was about $7 million plus some other benefits.
Pretty amazing. And you know, that school, sadly, they don't have a president right now because the guy they brought in then had brain cancer. But, I mean, you're talking about a place now that's going to have a first-year football coach, a first-year men's basketball coach, a first-year athletic director, a first-year president. I mean, I know the money's there and Michigan has all that, but this has the ability to, you know, it's going to take a while to maybe get all these folks on the same page. Are they going to hire the president first before the AD? Is that the idea you're getting?
That's my impression, yeah. The president who's in office now, Domenico Grasso, was supposed to be a very short-term president. As you mentioned, the first president they hired was not able to take office because he was diagnosed with cancer. And the expectation is they'll have a new president by the fall. I think the AD search is beginning, but I don't expect it to be completed before the new president takes office.
Austin, there was a lot of controversy during Ward Manuel's time there as the athletic director, but man, can't deny that there was also a lot of winning. So how do you encapsulate what his legacy is going to be?
Yeah, it's tough. It's a complicated legacy. I think you have to mention both the good and the bad with Ward Manuel. You have to talk about the success, the national championship in football, national championship in men's basketball, a really broad-based success across all of the sports that Michigan sponsors. But you also have to talk about the off-the-field stuff, the scandals, the allegations that marred a lot of Michigan's successes, the sign-stealing scandal, Sharon Moore, Matt Weiss, the list just goes on and on. It's just all of that. I think Ward Manuel, it's worth remembering that he took over Michigan after a pretty rough stretch in Michigan history. The Rich Rodriguez era, the Brady Hoke era, Michigan football had really fallen off the map. And Ward Manuel came in right after Jim Harbaugh. And I think a lot of Ward Manuel's tenure, honestly, is going to be remembered by his relationship with Jim Harbaugh. They butted heads. They went through the whole gamut of a relationship that a AD and a coach can have. They got Michigan to the mountaintop of the national championship, and then the end of Ward Manuel's tenure really will be remembered for all of the messes that Jim Harbaugh left behind, ultimately, including the one that cost Ward Manuel his job.
Austin Meek joins us. You can follow him on the socials by Austin Meek here on The Drive, the all-new sports animal in Eugene, and on the coast at KNCU, Fox Sports Newport. So I guess that's where I'm going to leave this with you. I know Goose might has another follow-up to there, is how does this affect Michigan overall in the perception of what the program is and how they run things and how they manage things? I mean, it seems to be stained.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it depends on your perspective and which side of the aisle you're on. You know, if you're a Michigan fan, I think you feel like the trophies and the championship banners are untarnished. You know, you focus on what happened on the field or on the court, where there's no denying that Michigan had some amazing teams and athletes. That represented the school really well and achieved a lot of success. If you're a Michigan fan, you want to focus on that stuff. If you don't like Michigan, which is most people who aren't Michigan fans, then you're going to focus on all the other stuff. And you're going to say, yeah, of course this is tainted. All of this stuff was happening in the background and it should detract from Michigan's accomplishments. I don't know that one way of looking at it is better than the other. I think it's just a matter of people are going to see what they want to see from this era of Michigan sports, and good or bad, Michigan gave everybody plenty of stuff to see, right? Like whatever you want to see in this era, you can certainly find the evidence to support it.
Listening to award-winning former Register Guard sports columnist who is so good that apparently the paper decided they couldn't find anybody as good as him, and they just stopped hiring a sports columnist at that point. So if we talk in 20 years, we might be talking about the last sports columnist ever at the Register Guard, but
Maybe I was so bad that they just realized they could get rid of the job entirely. That's all.
Oh, no.
Well, so I would have my thoughts on that, but I think you know how I feel about you. Hey, let's move this thing to football. I know you had with Harbaugh, it was weird. He wasn't real open with the media. There wasn't a lot of access. What's it been like with Whittingham? Have you gotten kind of a feel of kind of what he's, thinking about this team? They're picked fifth in the Big Ten media poll today, which means they're a national title contender. What's some kind of your early reactions or impressions of Kyle there?
In terms of just the amount of time that we get to spend with him, it's been pretty similar to how it was with previous Michigan coaches. So I can't claim that I've had a lot of chance to really sit down and get to hear his unfiltered thoughts on this team. I think we're going to learn a lot more this week in Chicago for Big Ten Media Days. I think he's going to be one of the main attractions there. To be a veteran coach who's been coaching as long as he has, he's 66. To be the new guy there amongst all these other Big Ten coaches, I think is going to be a really interesting position for him to be in. I think he feels good about this team. I think there are a lot of things to like about this Michigan team. Fifth feels about right. I think that's about where I had Michigan in my preseason ballot. There's definitely some questions about this team offensively, starting with the quarterback, Bryce Underwood. But I think Kyle Whittingham so far is energized by this kind of late career move he's made. The guy who was on the verge of leaving coaching now took over one of the premier programs in college football, and I feel like he's feels like he's playing with house money a little bit here.
He's actually, it's funny you mentioned that. He's similar to Ward Manuel. He got a nice payoff to go away from old Utah as well, probably because he knows where some of their bodies are buried.
Circumstances, however.
It makes sense it makes financial sense to figure out where the bodies are buried and to use that for your leverage. You mentioned Underwood, and last year, obviously, there was clearly dysfunction going on regardless of, everything that was going on there. And he wasn't great last year, but came in as the top recruit, the late flip from LSU. Is there a feeling around the Michigan folks, at least, that, hey, this could be a guy who emerges as one of the best in the conference, if not the nation, in year two, with maybe a little bit more of a functional offensive coordinator, head coach combination?
Well, that's certainly the hope from a lot of Michigan people, is that this is the year that Bryce Underwood makes a big leap and looks more like the guy that Michigan thought it was getting, the number one player in his recruiting class. And he's very young. He was 18 years old last year, a true freshman. I think you gotta cut him some slack in terms of the difficulty of coming straight out of high school and taking over a team like he did. The concerning part, I think, was that Bryce Underwood didn't really seem to get a lot better as the season went on. He had some nice games, but he didn't play his best football late in the season. It seemed like he kind of plateaued. And then, with all of the changes, the coaching change, there obviously are questions about how is he going to adapt to this new offense. Jason Beck, the new offensive coordinator at Michigan, what's he going to be able to do to get that out of Bryce Underwood, that elite talent that everybody knows that he has? You may have heard Eric Weddle, former NFL player who actually played for Kyle Whittingham at Utah, had some pretty harsh words in the spring about what he saw from Bryce Underwood when he visited Michigan. So definitely, I think one of the things, probably the thing that Michigan fans are most interested in right now is what's year two going to look like for Bryce Underwood.
And I think part of that, as we're going to let you go here, Austin, in a second, is that influence of Kyle Whittingham. For me, it's the maturity level. I saw a petulant Bryce Underwood on the sideline yelling at his receivers or his linemen, and in just some bizarre situations that turned into viral moments on the sidelines for Michigan. I mean, do you think that could be part of it as well, to allow this young man who's obviously uber talented to mature?
Well, yeah, obviously any player who comes straight out of high school, there's going to be an adjustment there. I do think Bryce Underwood was growing up last year. And look, Kyle Whittingham, like, he doesn't put up with any BS. He's a tough guy, a disciplined guy, and he demands that from his players. Everything he's said publicly so far has been very supportive of Bryce Underwood. They've embraced him as the starter. They named him the starter before they took a snap in the spring, so there's no quarterback controversy here. But I think it is true that Kyle Whittingham, he has a certain way that he wants things to be done, and if it's not showing up on the field, I don't think he'll hesitate to look at some other options. So it's a big year for Bryce Underwood to prove that he is the future for Michigan at quarterback.
Austin Meek from The Athletic. Austin, thanks again for lending your voice to our program. You always make us smarter. And would you please grab a glove next time you go to a ball game?
My kid actually, we were talking about it. So we left, and he's like, hey, I didn't bring my glove. I was like, well, you want to go back and get it? And he's like, oh, well, I won't need it. I was like, well, let's just go back and get it. So we did. We grabbed it. So he was ready. If that ball had been like 10 feet more toward the foul pole, we would have been right there.
All right, Austin. Thanks. Follow him at by Austin Meek on the Twitter. Thanks, Austin.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, Austin. Good to chat with you.
Great, Austin Meek. We're going to have him on during the season. Believe me, he's going to be one of our Michigan reporters for the season. When we come back, Oregon baseball. We kind of know what the lineup's going to look like. Maybe, kind of, sort of. Well, we know who's gone. We'll discuss that next. Also, Oregon basketball coach retirement. We'll discuss that when we come back on The Drive.
$10:50 a.m. and 102.9 FM and the SportsAnimalEugene.com. Broadcasting from the Bigfoot Beverages Studios. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
The Kendall Ford of July sales event is on now at Kendall Ford. Get the most out of those summer plans with new discounts that add up to thousands in savings on your new Ford. Take your adventures off-road and take advantage of over $10,000 in discounts off MSRP on a new 2025 Ford Bronco Badlands 4x4. Step up to a new F-Series truck and get over $15,000 in discounts off MSRP on all new 2025 and 2026 F-150s and Super Duties. Or take advantage of new summer savings on select new Fords with 0% APR, no payments for 90 days, and a complimentary 2-year 25,000-mile premium maintenance plan. Get in on the 4th of July savings and stop by Kendall Ford today. Kendall, let's start something great.
VIN number 1FSOB80039 and 1FSFC71754. See dealer for qualifications or complete list of eligible vehicles, coverage details, and limitations. All factory rebates subject to change. All financing on a credit price does not include title registration or tax. Subject to fire sales. See dealer for details. Offer expires 8/31/26.
When you're in Rome, you visit the Colosseum. When you're in France, you visit the Eiffel Tower. And when you're in Eugene, you visit Tracktown Pizza, Eugene's best pizza and a Eugene cultural icon for over 40 years. Tracktown Pizza has 2 locations, across from the U of O campus in Eugene and on 58th and A in Springfield. Tracktown Pizza, the best pizza in town. Call 541-284-8484 or visit tracktownpizza.com.
If your credit card bills have gotten out of hand, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it'll take years to get out of debt. Call Consolidated Credit now. They've helped over 10 million people without destroying your credit. They can reduce your interest rates, lower your total payments up to 50% to get you out of debt fast. For a free consultation, call Consolidated Credit now. The program works.
Call 800-499-4107. 800-499-4107. 800-499-4107.
Consolidated Credit Solutions Incorporated, 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33313. Licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Kansas CSO 0019051. Maryland DM 1492. Oregon DM 892. Licensed by the Virginia State Corporation Commission License Number DC83. Service may adversely affect the individual's credit. Non-payment of debt may lead to additional finance charges or collections activity, including legal action. Actual interest rates, length of program, and monthly payment reductions will vary by consumer and creditor. Yours could be higher or lower. Not a loan company. We do not lend money.
Roughly 20 veterans die by suicide every single day.
Canines for Warriors has been the nation's leading nonprofit organization, providing service dogs for veterans battling PTSD and other invisible wounds of war.
Thanks to my service dog, Lady Cameo, I got my life back.
I'm able to get out of bed in the morning.
Be excited, happy about today.
To learn more, visit caninesforwarriors.org. That's caninesforwarriors.org.
Sometimes they're right.
Rest my case.
Sometimes they're wrong.
You want answers. The truth. You can't handle the truth.
But no ears were harmed in the making of their disagreements.
I don't know what we're doing.
You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Hour number 3, we're going to start out the 5 o'clock hour with Kerry Eggers. He's authored 12, is that right, 12 books he's authored? He's a Heisman voter. He's the dean of Portland Sports, and he's going to join us. I think this is third visit.
I think that's adding up.
But he already has the nickname, the dean of Portland Sports. The
So we
dean.
just call him the dean.
The
All right, well, it's
dean.
fine. He's already got a nickname.
Because we already have the
like
Pope and the commish, and now we got the dean.
I like giving out nicknames, so that's all right. He's already got a nickname.
You do?
That was-
Sorry.
You really, you know where sarcasm comes from, right?
I saw the great SNL sarcasm skit. Have you ever seen that one?
No, I haven't.
I'll send
Have you
it to
seen
you.
this,
It's a
Goose?
really good one.
I don't know.
I know. I know
Well,
SNL's.
I'm not
it's a
we're asking
broad-
the
it's
wrong
a
person.
very, very hit
It's
and
a
miss.
broad description.
I was going to say for you, Goose, you already very clearly explained this to us. You do not watch any kind of television unless it's live sports,
Correct.
unless you're forced by Kim to do it, right?
Do you watch sports movies?
Not really.
Okay, so now we can have
They're
somebody
all
else
fake.
get flack
So
too.
stop.
Thank you.
So you've never watched Field of Dreams?
No, I have, and some of them.
Okay.
Are fine. Some of them are fine, but most of them, I know sports too much, and that's the liberty.
I'm
they
right
take
with you.
frustrate me.
I'm right with you.
Yeah, but see,
yet
you're
I have
doing
been
it. You're doing it for a
chastised.
different reason. Yes, and rightly so. You're the only one in this room that has not watched Field of Dreams. The only
You're not
one.
wrong. And you know what?
Okay.
It makes that game that they have very confusing to me. Why throw that corn?
All right, so next hour it's going to be Kerry Eggers to start off the hour. We're going to have a little discussion later on this hour about the Hall of Fame in baseball because, again, Dale Murphy got hosed yet again, and we're going to compare the latest inductee into the Hall of Fame to Dale Murphy, and I think you're going to be surprised. Is there? And I'm trying to figure out. Dale Murphy was probably one of the most beloved, the nicest guy in the world. No controversy off the field, no steroids, no run-ins with the police and such. And it seems like there's this bias against Dale Murphy. When you take a look at his accomplishments and awards and the longevity that he had and the faithfulness to the game, it's a head scratcher to me.
Are we doing this now?
No, I'm just saying. I'm setting out all that for later.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about Oregon men's baseball. Miles Gastola has signed his contract with the LA Dodgers. He's going to get $247,500 as a signing bonus. He was selected in the 8th round. Made 17 appearances, 10 starts last year, going 3-3 with a 3.61 ERA, and he was money later on in the season. He struck out 69 batters over 62 and a third innings. Ducks also lose pitcher Cal Scolari, who was taken in the 5th round by the White Sox. He signed for, let's see, what did he sign for, guys? He signed for $547,500. Ryan Cooney was the big winner, 3rd round draft pick of the Blue Jays, signed for $597,000. And then Maddox Maloney, you told us this before it was even announced, went with the Tigers, $344,000. Gastola just said. Devin Bell, who's out of eligibility, went in the 10th round to the Dodgers. And all that money is going to Shohei Ohtani because he signed for $7,500.
He had actually a lot of that money is going to Miles Gastola because Miles got actually an overslot because he had the leverage. The problem when you're a senior is you just have no leverage. You can tell the Dodgers, they tell you here's how much we'll give you, and if you say no, then you're going to go exactly. So you're kind of forced, and that's why you try to use your leverage here, and that's what Cooney, Maloney, Gastola, and them did.
He was a right-handed pitcher for the Ducks. Drew Smith, who also was out of eligibility, 15th round, signed for $25K. And Jack Brooks, this one was interesting, 19th round. What?
It was.
a 19th round of the Nationals. He went and signed $150K signing bonus though for a 19th round pick.
Again, leverage. He had the leverage to come back, and teams will take, like the Dodgers will take a Devin Bell in the 10th round and give them the underslot so that they can take somebody who's less likely to sign in the later rounds, like a Jack Brooks, and kind of overwhelm them with an offer that's more than you would expect in the 19th round. So you see this all the time where they maybe take somebody at a discount early to be able to overpay later.
So what does this mean for Mark Wiskowski and how the makeup of his team is? He's got some pitching coming back, but you don't have a lot of veteran guys in that clubhouse. There's, I think, a couple of the high school kids that have committed.
Signed too. The Giles, the outfielder,
Giles
they really
did.
liked, went to Pittsburgh. He signed
Yeah, but I
Pirates.
think there's a couple that are still coming. So, I mean, the cupboard's not bare. I mean, but there are names, and this is maybe where Waz is the guy that can convince kids that he sees on tape that he really likes, and nobody else is really paying attention to him, and he's going to help mold them in the Oregon way and bring them in. But I mean, there's some tweener guys where you look at their stats and it doesn't really blow you away on the page, but they seem like very serviceable people. And Maddox Maloney came out of high school and he was like, you going to see that power? No, you didn't see that power in high school, but then he turned into a power hitter here at Oregon. So I'll throw out it to you guys. I mean, where do you think Waz's team sits now after all of this? Because I think he was hoping a couple of these
Like
kids.
in the Big Ten?
Yeah, I mean, I think he was hoping a couple of these kids were not going to sign these lower draft picks 10 or below, that we're going to say, hey, I got eligibility left. I'll come back for another year.
Yeah, no, and I haven't seen a lot of portal pickups, but again, the college baseball doesn't get the attention of the others. So there may be people they've signed that just hasn't made news. They brought in the assistant from Troy. I thought maybe that could be a situation where maybe he gets a couple of his guys who have eligibility left to come that maybe want to play in the Big Ten, coming off of a College World Series run there. So maybe that's happening as well. I'd be interested to see once the roster's set what it looks like, because like you say, right now they haven't announced a whole lot, so it's hard to know kind of what's there. Let's face it, the Big Ten baseball isn't great. And you just give me Waz and his roster, I'm going to be picking him top 4 or 5, no matter regardless of who's on it.
Yeah.
But it is tough to lose, not just the drafted guys. Those guys you expect, hey, they gave you 3 years and they're gone. It's still losing Angel Laya for $500,000 to LSU. It's losing Junior Lockie to Georgia. It's losing Berkeley Mabius to Mississippi State. Those are the ones that really hurt, because those are the guys that you had a relationship. But again, as we talked about, clearly right now Oregon is not NIL-wise in the ballpark with those, and that's going to continue to be a problem as long as they don't have the money to keep up with some of the others.
And it's kind of a catch-22, right? Because one of the selling points, we talked to Waz about this for the staff, is that the fact that they can produce a lot of Major League Baseball players. They're very good at developing players. And we've seen, I think Oregon did really well in the draft in terms of their players did well for themselves, getting drafted in certain spots, a little bit higher than I thought in some spots, others maybe a little bit lower. But then you also mentioned the transfers. If you're going to Oregon at this point, you have an opportunity to do that, where your path could be to go to Oregon, and I hate to say it, but being used as a little bit of a stepping stone to get to one of these bigger schools. So I think it's a little bit of a balance for Waz to sort of try to figure out how to get a blend of the guys to come back. Obviously, if you're going to lose every guy, that's not going to be good for you, but they did keep Jaxa, so that's kind of a big one for them. So I think it's interesting how the things that are benefiting Oregon are also simultaneously hurting them.
Well, the things that are benefiting them in football are not benefiting them in the other sports, and we've seen that, right? That we just went through the power poll that Oregon has money and Purdue and these other ones do not, and so that's why Oregon's up there every time. The Oregon baseball, again, might be up near the top in the Big Ten in terms of funding, but that would put them probably last in the SEC in terms of funding.
It's Steve, it's Justin, it's Danny, and over in Studio B, it's Blaze and Dom, as we bring you The Drive here on the Sports Animal and also in Newport on Fox Sports Newport. So let's shift over to basketball. Dana Altman's staff loses, one of his top assistants to Creighton, and that was reported almost as the season was ending, and then it was announced today that. And how long has Kevin McKenna been with Dana Altman?
Well, since Creighton. He came from Creighton.
That's crazy how long. So Kevin McKenna is retiring. He's the director of player development and an integral part of what Dana Altman has done on the floor as well. I mean, a guy that was in Dana's ear helping and assisting. And I mean, when you say an assistant, that guy was truly Dana's shadow and in his right hand the entire time. And I think this is part of this changing of the guard type of thing in the Oregon basketball program, because let's just be honest, it's a short rope right now that Dana Altman has at Matt Knight Arena.
Yeah, well, McKenna was kind of the big man coach, but also he was, I think, Dana's X's and O buddy. And I think that when Dana would go into those dark rooms and break down film and scout a team, McKenna was sitting there right with him. They kind of knew each other and how they wanted to do things. Kevin was a vital part of that. A couple of years ago, there was some restructuring where Kevin went off the bench and away from recruiting. And then I think, like you say, the title there has changed recently. So I think he's taken a step away from some of that as Dana's probably tried to bring in more recruiters, etc. So not surprised to see Kevin go. Like you say, Mike Menega left to go. Sounds like Dana has there is a job opening out there for a general manager type, which he had not had for a while. I saw today that somebody said they're bringing in a new strength coach. So it feels like after what happened last year that there was going to be some shakeup of this thing. We haven't seen who's coming in, but it's not. And if you're Kevin McKenna too, look, Kevin's been doing this a long time. He's probably, with a lot of people, we see that leaving college sports right now because it's not as much fun to be having to, it's not the relationships that matter as much, it's the finances. So I think Kevin was kind of ready to do this and probably opens up there with Dana a chance to get a little more. But yeah, we had talked about that at some point you're going to have to kind of bring in some new blood, and it'll be interesting to see who he hires and what exactly these administrative roles are that they bring in to keep up with the Joneses.
And then on the other side, Kelly Graves brings in a new addition to his staff, a coordinator of player engagement and operations.
Yes, and they have, shout out to Oregon Media for having the name pronunciation on there for me. It's Hope Lewandowski, and it's Lewandowski, not Lewandowski, which I was going to initially say. So she's been announced as the program's coordinator for player engagement and operations. That was earlier today, and it's simultaneously announcing the elevation of Adi Gilden, Lisa O'Meara, and Peyton Scott. So she's going to be the new Peyton Scott, basically, who is now going to be one of the assistant coaches. So shout out to Peyton.
And so last year I got to interview Adi and Peyton for an Oregon Club event. And they just not very far removed from being players themselves. Yeah. And I had to ask them because they were on the bench and helping out with Kelly Graves last year in an official capacity, but not as officially assistant coaches, more like grad assistants and such, and director of player development and such. And I had asked them, I said, have you just really feel like you want to get right back out on the floor? There's 2 minutes left. And they're like, yes, we do. We have to hold ourselves back and remember. But that energy, I think, is going to be helpful to Kelly Graves in this program. Because, again, there's a lot coming back for Kelly Graves. He's added in some really nice pieces. I think the women's basketball program is going to be back on the rise again. I think they're looking past that second round and saying, we want to be a Sweet 16 team. We think we can be an Elite 8 team. Because it starts with Katie Fiso. And you can start with Katie Fiso on any team. You're going to be in good shape.
Yeah, and I like the fact that he continues to promote from within, both bringing back former players like Adi Gilden and Peyton Scott. Peyton went from player to the staff the next year. There was no, hey, you got to go away and get, we're ready to bring you on. I think he announced on your guys' show, I think he said his director of ops was getting a promotion to something else. So there's been a lot of just promotions from within, and I like the way he does that. And like you say, to bring in somebody from the outside here sounds like a good move as well. So I would trust Kelly Graves' hiring process at this point.
Well, I certainly do. And I like this team. You mentioned Katie Fiso. I think that she's primed to take a step forward.
He's a Tute.
I just love her mentality. And yes, he's a Tute who I think is also one of those players that she's a little bit unique in terms of her skill set and her size. But I think if you get a nice post player next to her, which I think they're able to do after this offseason, I think that she has a potential to get even greater than she was last season. So, the injuries killed them last year in a way. So I think that a lot of it will come down to health, but I think they're in a good spot.
Well, they get themselves in a little bit better bracket situation in the postseason. If they can come through healthy, then they could find themselves playing on the last couple of weekends of the season. All right, I want to talk baseball because it's been very, very good to me.
All right, Sammy.
And well, that's actually going back a little further than that. That's an old SNL skit. So Dale Murphy doesn't make the Hall of Fame again. And I'm going to tip your cap to the ones that did, but we're going to have a stark comparison of Jeffrey Franklin Kent and Dale Brian Murphy next on The Drive.
1050 AM, 1029 FM, and the SportsAnimalEugene.com. Other stations can say they cover the Ducks and Beavers, but we bring the receipts. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
So, what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Jansen Beach, Clackamas, Beaverton, Salem, and Eugene, Video Only.
It's back to school shopping time, and St. Vinny's retail thrift stores are the perfect place to start. Every location has wide selections of affordable clothing, shoes, sporting goods, dorm furnishings, and various school supplies. Plus, every purchase you make for your children will help St. Vincent de Paul support vulnerable families this school year and beyond. For store locations, visit svdp.us.
This message is brought to you by St. Vincent de Paul and Eugene area radio stations EARS.
A college security officer called to tell me there was a drinking party on campus. The officer said there had been excessive drinking, and our son was in the hospital for alcohol poisoning. He said my husband and I should come as soon as we could. I knew my son would face distractions and temptations when he went away to school. He already had unfortunate experiences with alcohol, and he was a little too good at fitting in with the crowd. I had no idea things could get so much worse, so fast. A nurse suggested we attend Al-Anon family groups. Even though our son claimed his drinking was no big deal, he said he was not an alcoholic and that he could quit whenever he wanted. I didn't want to go to an Al-Anon meeting, but I'm sure glad I went. If someone's drinking troubling you, you might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
Did you know that migraine is a disabling disease affecting over 36 million Americans? The pain of migraine sufferers is often so bad their lives just stop. The American Migraine Foundation helps people living with migraine to find the support and treatment they need. If you, a friend, or a family member suffer from migraine, go to AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to learn more. Find help and get connected. Make your move against migraine.
Nothing is too big for the sports animal to handle. That's what she said. You're home for me, Dan Patrick, 6 to 9 a.m. weekdays, and The Drive with Danny, Steve, and Justin from 3 to 6. This is the sports animal.
No, Goose is impressed. That
Dan Patrick said my name. I think I can die a happy man. That's pretty cool. Thanks for doing that.
I'll thank Dan for doing it.
Yeah.
Trying to get on his show this week so I can thank him in person. So coming up in hour number 3, yes, kids, hour number 3, we'll have the great Kerry Eggers, the Dean of Portland Sports. I can't give him a nickname. He's already got one, apparently. It'll be his 3rd appearance on this little radio program. And we're not little anymore. I need to stop saying that. And then we're going to also talk in that last hour. Goose is going to leave us at about 5:30. And we might have some final thoughts, maybe if there's even some breaking news. Tomorrow on the program, there's no program. That's the news for tomorrow. We will be under construction here and then brand new on Wednesday with a big show. So stay tuned for that. I think we're going to have Adam Sussman. We're going to talk a little Timbers on Wednesday. Okay. Later on this week, we're going to have Landon Tegwall for his first visit before we start heading deep into the football season. We will also have the great Neil Everett, who's going to join us. I'm sure he's got some thoughts.
And I know that he knows my name because he said it when I was in a press conference virtually.
You know what? You need to bring that up when we have him on the program.
No, I'm not going to bring that up. I will definitely not bring that up.
You keep saying it every time we talk about it off air. Say it when he's on the air. Like, say it to my face. Okay?
I'll think about it.
All right, let's talk about a Hall of Fame. So first of all, do you like the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Goose.
I would like it if about 20% of the current people in there were there. I think it's great to have a shrine for the all-time greats.
Okay.
I don't need a shrine to go learn what Jeff Kent did in the major leagues, or Harold Baines, or some of the others.
So very different paths. They announced who's going to join Cooperstown this year on the players' side: Andrew Jones, Carlos Beltran, and Jeff Kent.
And they all went in yesterday.
They all win. They are going to well, they actually even had some speeches already.
Yeah, it was yesterday. Yesterday was
yeah. Beltran, raised in Puerto Rico, the 6th player to earn a spot in the Hall of Fame from Puerto Rico. And, of course, he was a longtime Met, and he chose to go in he played for other teams, but he chose to go in the Hall representing the Mets.
Started with the Kansas City Royals.
Rookie of the year, right?
Yeah, and then we knew that we couldn't afford him after that.
One of 4 players to compile at least 400 home runs, 300 steals, and 3 Gold Gloves. And I think that's probably part of that. People don't understand how good of a fielder he was.
Really, really good player.
Yeah, joins Willie Mays, Barry Bonds, and Andre Dawson as the only players to do that. He broke in with the Royals. We were just talking about the Royals. And he broke in with the Royals and won the Rookie of the Year in 1999. Jones is the first player from Curacao to earn a spot in the Hall of Fame. And he paid homage to the only big leader from the islands before his arrival, former Yankee Hensley Mullins.
Bam Bam. Hensley Bam Bam Mullins for you card collectors.
Are
from
you
the 80s.
serious that you know this?
That's my guy of the Topps 1983 rated rookie Bam Bam Mullins card, I'm sure.
That's crazy. So he said he always wanted to be in a Hall of Fame, and he was a really good player for the Braves. I mean, Andrew Jones, I mean, he spelled the way first thing I remember about Andrew Jones is how he spelled his first name
with a U, U-W.
R-U-W. So that always caught my eye when that happened. Okay, now this is the one, and listen, when we have the rest of this conversation, we're going to break it up into 2 segments. We'll get Brad on in a second. Brad, hang on. We'll get him on. We got somebody on the Oregon Man Clinics hotline at 343-5673. I just want to finish this thought, and then we'll get back. Jeff Kent was named to the Hall of Fame, but he has to go the Securitas route because he had to get, the Veterans Committee or something to invite him. And okay, so I think a deserving player in a lot of respects. Okay, I'm not going to say he wasn't, but this is where it kind of gets into the tweener area. So, but I think for him to get in before Dale Murphy is a disservice, and Dale Murphy only got 6 votes. He needed 12 to get in, and this is I think this is like the 9th time or 10th time Dale Murphy's been up for this, and he has not even come close.
Yeah.
So, I know you have some thoughts on that, Goose. I hope you do, because we're going to talk about it. We're going to compare the two. Let's head on over to the Oregon Man Clinics hotline at 541-343-5673. Welcome in our good friend Brad, who I'm not sure what you want to talk about, Brad, but we're open to all things.
Nice. Yeah, sorry, you guys changed the topic right as I was dialing. Couple things. One, if you do get on with Dan Patrick, do me a favor and let him know that it's Ionescu, not Ionescu.
I know. I will. I will let his producer know.
That is such fingernails on the chalkboard for me, and I'm like, if the show wasn't at 6 a.m., I mean, I've tried to call him multiple times, and I can just never get through. It's just impossible with the time difference. So
I will do that for you, Brad. For you, I will do. And congratulations, by the way, on Big Bets. You won the tiebreaker, so you.
Thank you. I saw that when the final score was 8. I'm like, oh, so you're telling me there's a chance?
Yes, you did. You got in there under the gun. So all right. So I know you're not a big Hall of Fame guy, but was there anything else on your mind that you want to air out?
Yes, absolutely. I just wanted to comment because it was an absolute just. Beautiful sports moment on Saturday for the Timbers. Felipe Mora had gotten his walking papers, and he knew that it was going to be his last game after a 7-year career with the Timbers, or 7 years in MLS with the Timbers, and always the knack for the magical goal. He's not the most prolific forward they've had, but he's a crowd favorite, a fan favorite, and always had a knack for the timely goal. And Kevin Kelsey, the guy that's pretty much taken over his spot, was a little banged up and did not play on Saturday. So Mora got the start in his last game, and he scored twice in Providence Park, and they ended up beating Real Salt Lake 2-1. And it just was that Portland Timbers magic that, like, And when you hear an entire stadium chanting a player's name, and he had his kids on the field afterwards hoisting the log slabs, it was just a beautiful, beautiful story. It gave me goosebumps as a sports fan. He's always been one of my favorites. So I don't know. I just had to bring that to you guys.
No, I saw the images of it as well, and yes, that's one of those poignant moments. And you love like when a baseball player coming up to his last at bat, his kids get to announce his name, and then he bangs a home run in his last at bat in the major leagues and things like that. Sharing them with your children, especially, is I think a special moment for any professional athlete. And listen on Wednesday, because we're going to have Adam Sussman, who calls a lot of Timber stuff in the pre and post, and has a podcast that is just centered on the Timbers, and I know he'll have some thoughts on that as well.
That's awesome. I look forward to hearing him.
All right, Brad. Hey, thanks for calling in, bud. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Take care, you guys.
All right, there he goes. 541-343-5673. Let's take a quick time out, because we're going to come back and do the comparison between Jeff Kent
and Dale Murphy.
Do you have strong thoughts about this?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're from Portland, Oregon, you have to defend Dale Murphy. It's like every person I know from Portland is, and I don't know if that's just a regional thing or not, but I'll make my pitch for Murphy.
Well, but the thing we're going to do is we're going to spit facts here for you folks. We are going to have the facts between, and this is not an attack on Jeff Kent. So anybody who's a Jeff Kent fan right now, we're not attacking him as.
I don't think there are a lot of Jeff.
Yeah,
Kent.
I don't think people would mind.
Hey, listen, I just have to make sure people understand this is not a personal thing.
Any Jeff Kent lovers out there?
But this
call us up and defend your man.
All right, when we come back on The Drive.
Don't change the channel. Your radio might explode. Okay, not real. But you miss a minute of The Drive, you might miss something, well, spectacular.
On we go.
The Drive is back on 102.9 FM and 1050 AM. The Sports Animal.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising. After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know. Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Jansen Beach, Clackamas, Beaverton, Salem, and Eugene. Video Only.
Men like to get the most out of things. We expect results when we hit the gym, and we expect to finish our weekend to-do list. We also expect ourselves to never slow down, even when some things start to get a little harder. Low testosterone levels might be slowing you down. That's when Oregon Man Clinics step in. Sharpen your focus, regain energy levels, and improve your love life with treatment options tailored to you. Get the most out of being a man. Visit us online at our Springfield, Bend, and Albany locations.
Hi, this is Drew from Dalton Carpet on West 11th in Eugene. Dalton Carpet is family owned and operated and proud to serve you for 30 years. Now more than ever, someone you know is walking on a Dalton floor. Do you have a flooring project? Get your summer off to a new start. Lane County's best selection with hundreds of rolls of carpet and thousands of feet of click-together flooring on display and in stock right now at unbeatable prices. Come see us today at Dalton Carpet, right here on West 11th in Eugene.
Hey, there he is. How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand or what?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you okay?
I'm having a stroke.
Your face looks weird too.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you having a seizure or something?
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear.
I'm having a stroke.
You just need to know the sudden signs. Look for FAST, F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. Or S, speech difficulty. Then T, time. Time to call 911 immediately, because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Know the sudden signs. Face, arm, speech, time. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
1050 AM and 1029 FM and the sportsanimaleugene.com. Broadcasting from the Bigfoot Beverages Studios. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
The Sports Animal and The Drive here for a Monday. No show tomorrow. We will be under construction tomorrow. But back on Wednesday with a full show, 3 to 6, and online on the YouTube, on the Twitter, on the Twitch, and all the socials. You can find us, Sports Animal EUG, sportsanimalEUG.com. I'm Danny. There's Justin. There's Steve back in Studio B, and we're going to have just one studio.
The temporary Studio B.
Yeah, is Blaze and Dom. Thanks for tuning in wherever you're at. Open phones again. Top of the hour is the great Kerry Eggers, the dean of Portland sports. I think he's got some thoughts on the Portland Trailblazers and Oregon State baseball. I think we're going to jump around on that a little bit as well. Yeah. Okay, good.
Oregon State football.
That's right. We can do football season. Well, baseball still up there. There's some more signings for Oregon State baseball players as well. Their entire pitching staff is going to be playing in the major leagues before long. But we're staying on baseball right now. We'll talk more football at the top there. You're right, Goose. Dale Brian Murphy, born March 12th, 1956. Former American Major League Baseball player who played for 3 National League teams, mainly the Braves. That's where he was known most for, 76 to 93. He was a 7-time All-Star, led the NL in home runs, runs batted, slugging percentage twice. He played on poor teams, and that was probably something that didn't help him in the annals of history, as they would say. The teams he played for only posted 3 winning seasons in his 15 years in Atlanta. But even with all that, he was named NL Most Valuable Player in '82 after leading the Braves to their first division title, had 109 RBI that year, and again named to the MVP in 1983. He was just Mr. Reliable. 398 career home runs, a 469 slugging percentage, 371 home runs with the Braves remains the Atlanta record for a right-handed hitter. Some of his records broken by Chipper Jones. Geez, he's already in the Hall of Fame. In 1994, he became the 5th player to have his uniform number retired by the Braves. He's in the Oregon Sports Hall of Fame. He's from Portland. There's Dale Murphy. Okay, now let's quickly compare to the player who got in this year. Jeff Kent, 351 home runs as a second baseman. That's a major league record. 500 career slugging percentage, second highest in the position. He is only behind Rogers Hornsby in that category. 2,008 games played at second base, third most in league history when he retired. He had 1 National League Most Valuable Player. And what else? He had a Golden Glove, a couple of them.
Known for being a great guy.
And so you're talking about the off-field stuff, which I think does come into it a little bit. Murphy won 5 consecutive Gold Glove awards as a center fielder.
Came up as a catcher, too. Wasn't even a center fielder. He was a catcher when he was drafted.
And he was tied with Mike Schmidt in the decade that they both played. He was the only one who trailed Mike Schmidt with 929 RBIs with Schmidt. How is this guy keep staying out of the Hall of Fame?
Part of it is there's a couple of magic numbers that he missed. One is 398 home runs. If he gets 400 and there's a 4 in the front instead of a 3, I honestly think that impacts voters a little bit. Also, 2,100 hits in an era when people were still getting 3,000 hits. So we looked at 3,000 hits as the milestone for the Hall of Famers, and 2,100 was seen as a small number. Whereas without looking at it, I'm guessing 2,100 is pretty close to Kent, Andrew Jones, and all of them. Because
Kent has 351 home runs.
Yeah, that gets you. Yeah, and again, people are going to claim the most there by a second baseman. I don't care what position you played to hit them. It's not the fact that he plays a position that was traditionally held by shorter guys that didn't hit as many home runs, and Dale Murphy played in the outfield with that. The other problem with Murph is it just ended poorly. In his last 2 seasons, he played 26 games for Colorado in 93, and he played 18 in 92. And so I think basically a 2-year span where he was injured and not even a part-time player, again, leaves some. So I think some of this is just media at the time. Remember those last couple years, wasn't great. But I really honestly believe if he hit 2 more home runs, he'd be in, because I think people would say 400 is much, much better than 398. But that's just way baseball and miles.
I mean, I think we're splintering this now.
Exactly, but that's the way baseball works. Come on,
understand.
let's face it. We have magic numbers in baseball, and 398 is not
true.
one of them, unless it's a batting average.
Those are changing though, because we're not going to see a 300 game winner in baseball probably ever again.
True.
So I think that these things are changing. And I'm just going to play devil's advocate here, because more what I'm thinking is the thought process. I didn't watch Dale Murphy obviously in person, so I don't remember how things were going down in real time. It does seem like, okay, if you're back-to-back MVP, then you're the best player in the world according to whoever is voting for it for a couple years in a row. I looked. Are there any 2-time MVPs that have not been elected in Hall of Fame? This is how I figured out that Roger Maris is not a Hall of Famer. Did you guys know that? Roger Maris is not a Hall of Famer?
I did know that.
I had no idea. So he's a 2-time MVP. Dale Murphy, Barry Bonds, of course, who we know why. And then Juan Gonzalez, who won 2 AL MVPs for the Rangers in the 90s. Also, Alex Rodriguez, who, again, we all know why. There's a couple other guys that are playing currently. Ohtani, Mike Trout. I believe Freddie Freeman is maybe just a one-time. But there's some other guys that haven't had eligibility yet. If you look at the WAR, which, again, not an argument at the time, so maybe sort of backs it up postscript, if you will. His total WAR all time is 46.5. That's pretty low on the list. I know that Harold Baines is considered one of the lowest. I think he has something like 38 WAR. Similarly, Jeff Kent had 55, so a little bit higher. I think another thing interesting about Dale Murphy in his case, so this is, again, if you're just super anti-WAR, wins above replacement, then you're not going to really like this. But he had a 162-game average of 3.5 WAR a season,
and 4
basically.
is okay.
4 is considered like, hey, nice season. You know who has a higher WAR per season than that? Cody Bellinger. So do you feel like Cody Bellinger is a Hall of Famer? Kind of. He won an MVP, had a couple of really great seasons. I don't think Cody Bellinger is a Hall of Famer, to be honest with you. And I think another thing that has been around for a long time in the Hall of Fame cases has been Hall of Fame voters love the, 10 years of being like an all-star level player. It looks like Dale Murphy more had like 7, I think. So
how many did Jeff Kent have?
Well, Jeff Kent, the thing is, he ended his career really well. He had all-star appearances when he was 36 with the Astros, 37 with the Dodgers. So he actually wasn't an all-star before his age 31 season.
How were those teams?
They were pretty good teams, from what I remember. He was on some good Giants teams. I believe he played with Barry Bonds, right? And then he, with Houston in 04-05, those were some good Houston teams.
You know what
as
I
well.
call that? Sometimes I call it riding coattails.
You know what I say?
Yeah.
WAR. What is it good for?
I already used that line with him before.
He did.
I think the
I
first
hate
thing
war.
you think of,
I
right?
hate war as much as I hate the whole thing.
And I get that, but
I
even
don't
if you're-
understand war. That's probably why I hate
Well,
it.
it tries to encapsulate basically how good you are in one stat, which there's some problems with that. But I think the biggest one that probably held him back at the time was he did have the 2 MVPs, but didn't have the longevity, which is kind of going back to what you're saying with not ending his career as well.
So I think it's also the final argument against Dale Murphy, unfortunately, is that he's now slipped into an era that nobody really remembers. And it's
Isn't that why we have the modern era commission or whatever that's supposed to be doing
that's
that?
supposed to help, but I don't think it does. Do you think Kerry Eggers would have an opinion on this?
He would, but it might take more than a segment because I know he's got a lot of thoughts. You can ask him, though.
Well, I don't want to open up a can of worms. Back at the top of the hour. Kerry Eggers joining us next, the Dean of Portland Sports, right here on The Drive. Stay tuned.
1050 AM, 1029 FM, and the sportsanimaleugene.com. Other stations can say they cover the Ducks and Beavers, but we bring the receipts. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Almost every car made over the last 10 years has a camera. Did you know that when you replace a windshield, the camera needs recalibrated? If your glass provider doesn't fix the camera, you could have issues with safety features like forward collision alert, adaptive cruise control, or emergency braking. Don't trust some guy in a truck to fix or replace your windshield and then have to make a second appointment to calibrate your camera. You need Olson's Auto Glass, 2041 West 7th Avenue in Eugene. Olson's Auto Glass, repairing windshields since 1938.
all bets are on at the Three Rivers Casino Resort Sportsbook in Florence. Bet 24/7 at our kiosks or download the brand new Sportsbook app today and get $10 in free bets. Place wagers right from your mobile device while you relax in your room, hit the casino floor, or grab a bite. Then catch the action on Oregon's largest sports betting screen. Visit threeriverscasino.com/sportsbook to learn more. The Sportsbook at Three Rivers Casino Resort. Winning starts here.
Millions of Americans are glued to their TV weekly, watching a sport they love. Come and relive your childhood at A&J Sports Cards. They have a wide variety of sports cards and memorabilia. Eugene's home for collecting is A&J Sports Cards. Whether you're looking for the stars from the past or the present, you'll find them at A&J Sports Cards. They are here to meet your hobby needs. That's A&J Sports Cards, 1478 West 6th Avenue, 541-343-5561.
School sports are played by humans, coached by humans, and officiated by humans. So the next time you're sitting in the stands at a school athletic event, please remember this and maintain your humanity, especially when it comes to judging and critiquing athletes, coaches, and officials. Please show your fellow humans some respect. They'll appreciate your empathy.
This message presented by the OSAA and the Oregon Athletic Directors Association.
This is a Sports Animal Sports Bite.
I'm Blaze Winston. Real Madrid is on track to conclude a deal with Jan Diomande from RB Leipzig. The 19-year-old wing is one of soccer's top rising stars, scoring 12 goals and adding 8 assists in the Bundesliga last season. Diomande helped lead the Ivory Coast to the knockout round for the first time in World Cup history. Moving to the MLB, the Toronto Blue Jays right-handed pitcher Max Scherzer will come off the injury list tonight and pitch against his former team, the Washington Nationals, on his 42nd birthday. Scherzer holds a record of 1-4 with a 10.23 ERA so far this season. Finishing with the NFL, Troy Reeder signs with the Detroit Lions. The veteran linebacker played in all 17 games for the Rams last season, registering a total of 22 tackles and 2 pass breakups. This will be Reeder's 3rd team after playing for both teams in Los Angeles. Sports Bites every hour, and whenever news breaks, follow us at sportsanimalEUG.com. I'm Blaze Winston.
KORE, Springfield, Eugene. I'm Steve Mims. You can listen to me on The Drive weekdays from 3 to 6 on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Hour number 3 on The Drive, 102.9 FM, 1050 AM. The Sports Animal and on the coast, KNCU. That's Fox Sports Eugene. Thanks for hanging out with us, folks. Yep, the expanded program. It's called The Drive. We're off the air tomorrow with the program. You'll hear a regular Fox Sports program, and then back with an all-new show and an all-new studio on Wednesday. Let's head on over to the Oregon Man Clinic's hotline at 541-343-5673. He's a returning guest to our station, first-time guest on this program, the author of 12 books. He's a Heisman voter, and they call him the Dean of Portland Sports. So do we. It's the great Kerry Eggers joining us. Kerry, how is your Monday going?
Good, Justin. Thanks. How are you doing?
Well, I'm Danny, but that's okay.
Danny.
No, listen. Hey, no, yeah, Kerry, I'll take it. You just took 30 years off of my life, which I will absolutely take at this point. How about that?
Well, it's Mims that I know best, and
Yep.
I tell you, one of the I knew when he was a graduate of the Northwest Sports Writing Clinic, I knew that he was headed for big things, and now I'm sure of it.
Yeah, except that Kerry didn't tell me that the newspapers were going to die before I got to retirement.
Well, we're reinventing Goose in everybody's minds and ears. So, Kerry, in 40 years of covering the Blazers, did you ever, in your wildest or darkest nightmare, think that you would be talking to people about possibly relocation of this Portland franchise?
Not until the last year or two that news, that became a possibility. But you're hoping the new owner comes in with the attitude that, hey, this is one of the best fan bases in the league. And they've had a pretty good history, through the years, and that he's going to do the right thing. He or she was going to do the right thing, but that hasn't been Tom Dundon's MO, and so now. It's going to be, August 12th is the vote by the Portland City Council. It's going to be a huge vote to determine whether they're going to put the money in to that is necessary to complete the deal with the state and the county and the city to get Moda Center, renovated. So it is disappointing, that's for sure.
Kerry, do you think that either Jody Allen or Adam Silver should have vetted this process more to see that it was somebody local, particularly selling the team when the arena's on such a short lease left made it easy for somebody to come in and go quickly? Do you think that somehow or another that lease should have been extended before, or Jody or Adam Silver should have sat there and really vetted the people to say, hey, wait a minute, we don't want another situation where somebody comes in and moves, but we want at least to give a good faith attempt to keep it there?
Well, I don't doubt that Adam Silver doesn't want them to move. I mean, it was a black eye when Seattle moved to Oklahoma City. There's no doubt about that. So I think he's very aware that his preference would be for him to stay. But legally, he doesn't really have anything he can do. And the other owners, if it ever came to a vote, I think they'd vote to allow him to move because they want to have that option, and they would want to have that option in the future too. Now, Jody Allen's a different story. She obviously delayed and didn't get had the temporary deal done, but not a real deal, like you say, because she wanted to make as much money as she could for the foundation, I guess. I guess that's the way she would look at it. But she screwed over the city of Portland, and she should have sold to a group that would have. She should have made that contingent that they would do everything they could to keep the Blazers in Portland.
Kerry, this is Justin. So thanks for being on here on the program. Yep, absolutely. Happy to get to know you. I know you know Mims the best, but we're hoping to get to know you a little bit more here on this program. I don't doubt that Tom Dundon would move the team if he wanted to. It does seem like there are some factors that people are saying basically it's not extremely likely in terms of where they're going to go. But where do you lean right now? If you could put your gut feeling, do you think they're going to stay? Do you think they're going to go?
I think they're going to stay because I think the Portland City Council is doing what they can to play, to be tough and say, hey, we want to get the best deal, but they have no leverage, and they have to know that. And even though there's a silent or a vocal minority that has pushed to not make a deal, and say they can't let that happen. Can you imagine the Moda Center is owned by the city of Portland? Now, it's not owned by, but it won't be owned by Dundon. So if the Blazers leave, who's going to be the inhabitants? Who's going to take up 300 dates? Who's going to take up 200 dates a year? Nobody is. So I don't see any way that the Portland City Council could not decide on August 12th to say to vote against it. I really don't.
An all-league defensive end on a Corvallis Spartan team that won a state championship back in the 70s. His senior season, he played alongside the great Donnie Robinson, who I got to meet and talk to a while. Or probably Donnie Reynolds. I said Robinson. I know. Gary Beck, Mike Riley, Jaron Hackenbruck. They were all there, along with our guest Kerry Eggers and his glory years down there in Corvallis, graduating with honors from Oregon State back in '75. Listen to this. He's covered 2 Summer Olympics, 4 Super Bowls, a Pro Bowl, World Series, 2 Major League All-Star games, 5 College World Series, 2 National Championship football games, 2 Final Fours, 5 Davis Cup ties. You want me to keep going? A U.S. Open, 6 U.S. Olympic track and field trials, and of course many NBA Finals and All-Star games. And he joins us here. And all that, he also had time to write 12 books. Kerry, the one remaining question on Tom Dundon, and honestly I want to move off of it and move on to something a little bit more positive, is he is a businessman. And I have the contention that there is a side of this which I begrudgingly accept, is that if you as a tenant are being asked to put up millions or hundreds of millions of dollars on something you don't even own, where is my return? Could it be as simple as saying, you know what, we're going to give you equity stake in the Moda Center if you put up this amount of cash? Wouldn't that be a simple alternative?
Well, couldn't agree with you more that he's not liable for that. He's coming in and he says, I'm putting up $4.25 billion to buy the club. Mm-hmm. I don't own it. You guys have let this go. You need to take care of it. I understand that, but I would have liked to have seen. Here's what I think. All he needed to do, Justin, was assuage the people in Portland a little better. Attend the Portland City Council meeting instead of that same day being a featured guest at the Portland Metro Chamber meeting. Mm-hmm. Come on. Or have one of your associate, have somebody that's in your front office Dwayne Hankins, I guess, would be the guy that have somebody there. That's like just thumbing your nose at him. And he's done that in a lot of instances. All he's got to do is cultivate a little bit of a relationship, and I think this thing would work. I really do.
He is Kerry Eggers. His latest book is Scrolls of a Sports Scribe. I've had a chance to read it. There's 2 volumes of it. It is a great history of Oregon sports. Recommend picking it up at kerryeggers.com. Kerry, let's move over to Oregon State. Let's start with the football. Jamarcus Russell comes in there. They've got a new AD. They've got a new basketball coach. They've got a new conference. There's a whole lot going on over there. What's been your initial reactions with Jamarcus?
It's interesting. All 3 of the guys that they have hired in basketball, football, and the athletic director have some similarities. They're all black. They're all kind of middle-aged, young to middle-aged. They all have a lot of energy. And it's going to be a much different look at Oregon State, not just because they're in a new league and because they've dropped down a little bit in the competition that they're going to play. But I just think that the energy, they've got to feed off that, Steve. And I think they will to an extent. Now, in terms of Jamarcus, he has a lot of energy, and that's not going to be a problem. My initial reaction to that is it's great. But on the other hand, he's got to have the talent. I'm concerned about their talent, even though they're going to play in a Pac-12 where they ought to, be in most of those games. I just don't know if he's got enough talent for this season to do. I think 6-6 would probably be a very successful go for him.
Kerry, have you gotten a depth chart from Jamarcus yet?
No, I haven't asked him though. But he's a little tight on some stuff. I don't like that. I hope that the guys that are working with him daily can get him to open up a little bit on that stuff.
Well, there is some positive on the horizon. As you said, the youthful enthusiasm in Corvallis is something that's pretty welcome, I would imagine. And then you go all the way up to the AD level. So now the new boss, Kevin Griffin, coming back with a business and marketing background, and his last stop at Ohio State. Well, I think they're okay in terms of their financial resources. So talk about that as the new boss coming in with hires already made in the 2 major sports that are the only revenue drivers basically at Oregon State, and how that model looks, and what your impressions of Kevin Griffin when he comes on campus and officially takes the job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I went to his press conference. Again, very, very impressive guy. And you're right, he has a lot of marketing background. And I really think this is going to be even more than usual a fundraising position.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Barnes had to do a lot of fundraising too, but this will be even more important. They're going to have to navigate the NIL and the rev share stuff really carefully. They need to be in the top end of the Pac-12 in that, and right now they're not. They're probably in the middle, and so he's going to have to use his experience in the marketing game to help them, and then they've got to have good teams. And I think Justin Joyner has a chance to have a pretty good team. He got some guys that have been started in basketball for D1 schools, and a couple guys that were big scorers. That's one thing that Wayne lacked a lot of his recruits. Most of them weren't big scorers, and I think that in today's game you need to have some of that.
Kerry, as we look at, I think you could say that the 2 most powerful folks in the Oregon State Athletics Bar right now are Mitch Canham and Scott Rueck, 2 guys who've had success at their levels with everybody else is coming in at maybe higher paid positions, haven't had as much success. Do you think both Mitch and Scott can continue to have the success? I mean, they were able to compete at the Pac-12, the old Pac-12, when some other programs were up and down. They were kind of there every year. Do you think baseball and women's basketball can continue on the same trajectory, even dropping down into a conference like the Pac-12 that's not going to be one of the Power 4 now?
Let's take them separately. Scott was at a point where he was going to contend for the Final Four 3 years ago. There's no doubt about it. If he brought his entire team back, he was going to recruit a big. He needed one more big. He might have won a national championship. They certainly would have pressed for a Final Four spot. Now that's not going to happen. So his goals are going to have to be lowered. His goals have to be, let's make the NCAA tournament. Let's try to win the league. I think he might be able to do that. It's going to be tough, but Scott is a tremendous coach. He's done a great job with the program, and that's just a fact. They're not going to be a national championship contender. Now, can Mitch do that? That's certainly going to be their goals. Every year they want to go to the College World Series and they want to win the damn thing. So I'm a little more hopeful for them. They've got a lot of good. Pat Casey's helping them. That's a good thing too, helping them in fundraising. They've got every year they've added facility stuff. They've got another big facility project this year going. I don't know if you noticed, but none of their recruits signed, and I can't remember the last time that happened. None of their letter of intent guys from this last high school group signed, and they've got a couple of really good kids coming in. So I'm more hopeful for Mitch. They should be able to have a team that can be a top 25 team, at least in the short term, and we'll see about the long term.
All right, I'm going to take back what I said about the two most powerful, because you just mentioned and Pat Casey might still be the most powerful person in Oregon State, because he is probably the one that can walk in a room and fundraise as much as anybody. But so he'd be on there. And it's too bad Dex Whitney can't come back. If he'd have been there and you'd have had the potential number one pick leading it, that would have been different as well.
Yeah, it worries. Their position players coming back next year, plus the kids coming in, they're pretty loaded up. They did a good job there, but their pitching is a big concern. Losing the kid to Florida he went with Dorman, Rich Dorman, the pitching coach. They lost two good arms there, so they're pretty much out on starters. It's going to be interesting to see that. They're going to have to pick up some kids and more kids this summer in the transfer portal. Andrew Moore will do a good job, though. You guys in Eugene know about Andrew, and a great guy, has a good resume, young guy. He should be a pretty good recruiter for him.
And just looking at the larger picture, it's a new conference. You have a new basketball coach, a new football coach, new athletic director, and I would say a pretty not patient fan base. How much patience do you think there's going to be right now in this new sort of era?
A disgruntled fan base
program.
Yeah, I don't know. Football, of course, is the biggest part of that. They're going to have to get used to the fact that UCLA and USC and Arizona State and Washington and Oregon even they're not going to be playing them every year. It's going to be, it's going to be the Colorado States and San Diego States and so on. So I don't know how that's going to be. I think if they win regularly, they'll still be fine. But if they have a couple losing seasons, they could really fall off, and that'd be a disaster for the whole athletic department.
Kerry Eggers joining us on The Drive, the sports animal in Eugene, and out on the coast, KNCU. It is Fox Sports Newport. As we wind up here with the great Kerry Eggers, the dean of Portland sports. How did you survive co-authoring a book with Dwight Jaynes?
You know what's funny about that book? That was in 1991, and followed I guess it was 92 maybe, the second time they made the finals with that group. And so it was kind of just a year diary type thing. But I wrote one chapter, and then he wrote another, and then I wrote the third. He ran all the way through that book. We alternated chapters. And 2 years later, we couldn't tell each other who wrote which chapter. That's how tight we were, So it worked out pretty well. And Dwight always likes to say he knows which chapters. He wrote the good ones.
All right, and then last question, and I know it's kind of like children. Is there a book that after you were done, or a series, because you've just written volumes 1 and 2 of Scrolls of a Sports Scribe, that you just look back and are just saying, yeah, that's the one, that's my favorite?
I always say that the Civil War rivalry, Oregon vs. Oregon State football, it's a history book. I'm a history guy. I went back to the very first year, put a lot of research into it, and did interviews with a lot of people that are no longer with us. This was written in 2015, I think, so it's only through the 2014 season. So unfortunately, the last decade is not in there. But boy, there's a lot of stuff from Rich Brooks and Mike Riley and Tommy Prothro and Len Casanova and both sides with Fouts and Terry Baker. I mean, it was a fun book to do. It's a fun book to look back on, and I'm glad I did it.
Well, Kerry, we hope that you're going to be a regular here on The Drive, as we're going to be statewide with you, the Dean of Portland Sports. You can follow him at Kerry Eggers and KerryEggers.com. Kerry, have a pleasant rest of your day, and thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks, Kerry. Appreciate it.
Here he goes, the great Kerry Eggers. All right, break time. And when we come back, we didn't get to this Michael Lombardi thing. So I'm going to leave. Goose, you only have one more segment left with us, and you got to take off. All right, so I'm going to let you choose. Stanford football players forming a campus chapter for okay, that's no.
He's shaking his head no.
Okay, Michael Lombardi.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the tastier one. Michael Lombardi is Is he out? He's just suspended, I guess, right on administrative leave at UNC. Boy, the folks at Chapel Hill are really missing Mac Brown right now. We'll talk about that next on The Drive.
Don't change the channel. Your radio might explode. Okay, not real. But you miss a minute of The Drive, you might miss something, well, spectacular.
On we go.
The Drive is back on 102.9 FM and 1050 AM. The Sports Animal.
Summer adventures are waiting, and at Kendall Chevrolet GMC of Eugene, we're here to help get you road trip ready with new summer savings. Save $10,000 off MSRP on a new 2026 GMC Sierra 3500 Denali Ultimate Crew Cab 4x4 and get 4.9% APR. Lease a new 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500 LT 4x4 at just $394 per month for 36 months with $2,999 cash or trade equity due at signing. Plus, get an additional $2,500 in discounts available for current Chevrolet lessees. Stop by Kendall Chevrolet GMC of Eugene and save today. Kendall, let's start something great.
Bid number TF249826 and TP419699. $0 security deposit based on 10,000 miles per year. See lease posting at Kendall Chevrolet GMC or call 877-371-8620 for complete lease details. All financing out of approved credit. Price does not include title registration or tax. Subject to prior sale. See dealer for details. Offer expires at 31/26.
I've seen it. I've covered it. I'm Alex Rogers, your local farmer's agent in West Eugene. When you need auto, home, life, or business insurance, Farmers can help you protect everything you've worked so hard to achieve. I really enjoy what I do, and I can help you understand all your coverage options. When I'm your Farmers agent, you're not stuck at the mercy of some computer. I'm your advocate when you need help. Visit my office today at 1154 Garfield Street here in Eugene, or give me a call at 541-284-2804.
Jerry Shop Talk.
Hey, you.
Hi, Mom.
Happy anniversary.
Thanks, you remembered.
Of course. Jerry's has been locally owned since 1961.
Serving Eugene and Springfield for 65 years.
And now it's your big anniversary sale.
That's right. Starting Saturday, August 1st and going all week.
Doing anything special on the big day?
Well, we're having a few people over. On Saturdays, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., you'll find like 50 suppliers at each store.
Wow.
Doing hands-on demos so you can learn to use tools from the pros.
Sharp.
And we'll have hundreds of items on sale at incredibly low prices.
I figured.
And you could win one of 10 Jerry's gift cards for $650 each.
Sharon? Yep. Jerry's big anniversary sale starts this Saturday.
Great. What are the details?
He always wants the details.
Tell him to look for Jerry's ad in the mailbox or go to betterheadforjerry's.com.
I'm going.
See you guys Saturday, 7 to 5.
We'll be there.
Bells on.
Can't wait.
See what I'm doing?
When faced with complex challenges, there are people who come together to solve problems and transform lives. That's us. We are Rotary. We work with community partners to build green spaces for all to connect with nature and each other. We support local youth through mentorship and literacy programs. We're committed to causes that improve lives everywhere. Learn more at rotary.org/action.
Nothing is too big for the sports animal to handle. That's what she said. You're home for me, Dan Patrick, 6 to 9 a.m. weekdays, and The Drive with Danny, Steve, and Justin from 3 to 6. This is the sports animal.
The Drive here for a Monday. No show tomorrow. Again, just to make sure everyone who's tuning in right now, and thanks for being with us on board at Sports Animal EUG and on the sportsanimalEUG.com. We're on the YouTube, we're on the Twitter, we're on the Twitch, we're live. Wave to the kids. Hello. Danny, there's Justin, Goose. We got Blaze and Dom back in Studio B. And last segment with Goose, he's got to go do some stuff with the kiddo. And Justin and I will take the rest of the way home. So, North Carolina football general manager Michael Lombardi, a top aide to Coach Bill Belichick, is now on a paid administrative leave. UNC announces that Lombardi's leave is effective immediately, did not disclose any other details. Tar Heels open up their second season under Belichick on August 29th. We were talking about like the 0 week, the first week games or whatever. They're in Dublin against TCU. School decision stems from, this is the report, a human resources complaint filed by a former UNC front office employee. And there is the pending investigation that's going on. So the question for you guys, and if you want to dial us up on the Oregon Man Clinics hotline at 541-343-5673. We've had a lot to digest today with Austin Meek and the Michigan kerfuffle, and with Kerry Eggers and the Portland kerfuffle. And if you want to talk about UNC, fine. Isn't this experiment finally over for Bill Belichick and in the college area?
I think this is sort of the first sign that it's gone. You know, they kind of gave him everything he wanted, right? I mean, Michael Lombardi was the highest guy, was the highest paid GM in the country, even though he's been one of the worst. I think their recruiting class is 17th, their transfer portal is 64th. He came in with this, we're going to build an NFL team arrogance, and it's been nothing but a disaster. But it felt like when Belichick, they let him have that. They gave him a bunch of money.
Don't forget the girlfriend thing.
They've let the girlfriend thing go on, and it feels like I've seen a lot of people point out that this release today didn't come from the athletic department. It came from the university, and that maybe the folks on, I don't know what their Johnson Hall is. I always say that for Oregon Gent. The folks in their version of Johnson Hall have decided, all right, letting this guy kind of do whatever he wants and constantly embarrassing everything. We're going to start with this Lombardi guy because we've got a legitimate complaint, and we run him out. That at least tells Bill Belichick that, hey, this kind of you do whatever you want and kind of embarrass us isn't going to be lasting. So I wonder if this is the start of the departures under Bill Belichick, with it being Michael, who's come off as very arrogant in everything he's done. So the thought that he could shout down a subordinate in maybe a insulting way that led to an HR violation probably isn't a huge surprise for some people.
Beginning of the end, as they say.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the Colorado Deion Sanders situation a little bit. It seems like it's a little even more tenuous than that, because Deion's lasted, what is this going to be, year 4?
Deion's year 2. He had the Heisman Trophy winner and
I know.
9-win teams. So
But
this team doesn't look like they're going to be anywhere near that.
But the thing about the Colorado team was that they had all this talk, and then they came out, and it was just so clearly not what they were going to be billed as. And I think that was pretty much what happened with UNC last year, where it was like all this conversation about, well, it's Bill Belichick and NFL, blah, blah, blah. And then they were terrible. I mean, just hard to watch. Bad. So I think you're right. I definitely think this is probably the beginning of the end. I don't see that Bill Belichick's going to last. Maybe he'll last this season. I can't see him lasting 3 seasons.
Yeah, and I think the buyout gets to be to where that's where you're going to have, because I doubt even Bill Belichick, quite honestly, at this point really enjoys this job and wants to do it. He may get to the end and they just hope, hey, they get rid of me and I walk off with the money, whereas they may look and say, hey, wait a minute, we're going to force you to work some sort of negotiation there.
Well, let's look at the timeline. Lombardi joined Belichick at UNC in December of 2024. That was reuniting the 6-time Super Bowl winning coach with Lombardi. He worked under Belichick at New England for a couple of years, and then going all the way back, and this is one thing I didn't realize, back in 1987 when he was with the Browns for that 1 year.
It's been his right-hand
all the way
man.
back.
There's no doubt. It's been his guy.
And Lombardi has faced scrutiny on multiple occasions, including in February 2025 when he said the Tar Heels consider ourselves the 33rd NFL team. I don't know if you remember that quote. He also made headlines.
I don't.
when he so the other one was when Lombardi told the Patriots their scouts are not allowed access to the Tar Heels program. And of course, all of this, and then on field, as Justin said, they stunk. They were 4-8. They probably squeaked through a couple of those 4 wins under lesser teams. No players, 0 players selected in the NFL draft this past year.
Yeah,
that's not progress. That's backwards.
Yeah, and because the year before they had a player go number 2 to the Patriots, and maybe the Patriots like some other players on that team, but they didn't allow them to come do it because, again, Bill Belichick is holding all grudges and just kind of doing things and bringing in his people.
But he has no leverage in this situation. It would be different if they were 9-3 last year and went to a bowl.
And he's got money that he's going to say you're going to have to pay me to go away, and that might end up just being what happens.
But isn't that a diminishing? Sorry, isn't that a diminishing contract? I mean, I can't remember the details.
I thought it was like 3 years, third, so there'd only be like $10 million left after this. But I'm saying they might want to play a little staring match with him and say, hey, we know you don't want to be here either, so why don't you, maybe you got enough money, why don't you go away?
Is this it for Bill Belichick, though? I mean, does he? He doesn't get another NFL job after this.
No, I wouldn't think so.
And he's not going to take an assistant job. He might be a consultant with somebody. But that's it.
He reinvented himself on TV that 1 year when he was away and kind of acted like, hey, it turns out Bill Belichick has, he may reinvent himself and be on some.
I think it's TV
NFL
is exactly where it goes.
NFL Today.
Well, it'll be something related with his girlfriend.
Yes. But no, there's no more coaching, I don't think, after this, unless he wanted to go to, the military academies or something. He's always kind of talked about. Maybe it's something like that. But I can't imagine after this experience he'd want to stay around doing that.
Well, the thing about North Carolina, like you mentioned, this is a basketball school for sure, but they've had some success. Like they've been a pretty good team over the years, and the expectations are higher than looking like what they've looked like. It's not even just the fact that they played bad; it's the fact that they were like totally out physicaled, totally out prepared. Like this didn't look like an NFL academy. Like it just the talking about it just it's hilarious.
You know what this is like? It was like Chip Kelly in the NFL.
It's true.
Trying to take a college model, it's the reverse. Trying to take a college model to the NFL, which failed. Yeah. I mean, it failed more than it was successful, and it's the reverse now. It's the bizarro world of trying to take a pro coach back down to the college level.
Yeah,
these are kids,
right? Well, it just goes to show, and I don't just mean to bring like Dan Lanning into this, but people have always talked about Dan Lanning as a NFL head coach, and my thing is why? Like, what is about him as a coach in college makes you think that yes, the NFL is ready for that guy?
That's a great narrative.
But like he's not like this big scheme guy or something like that. Like
we don't know that.
I mean, I'm not saying that he isn't a part of those decisions, but my point is that Dan Lanning, it seems like what he's really good at is he's really good at connecting with his players, and I don't think that connecting with your players is going to win you NFL games as much.
Well,
that doesn't mean he's the worst coach. I just think he might be a college coach, and that's fine.
Well, if he's happy with that, and I know the folks in Eugene certainly hope that he's the happiest guy in the world.
And maybe he's listening and he's saying, that guy thinks I'm not an NFL coach. Like that's the Dan Lanning thing to do.
Well, maybe that gets him on the program. Who knows? All right, Goose, we're going to let you go. We'll take a break. When we come back, Justin and I will close out the program, last couple of segments, and your phone calls as the phones are open for you. The Oregon Man Clinics hotline at 541-343-5673. Stanford is back in the news. They're forming a union. And we'll be back to talk about that here on The Drive.
Sometimes they're right.
That's my case.
Sometimes they're wrong.
You want innocence. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
But no ears were harmed in the making of their disagreements.
I don't know what we're yelling about.
You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
It kind of sneaks up on you. You're more tired than you should be, a little less focused, a little less motivated. Maybe you've gained a little weight. It's normal. A lot of men experience it, but that doesn't mean you have to live with it. At Hale Men's Clinic, personalized testosterone therapy can help you restore your energy, your clarity, your edge. Real solutions, real results. Hale Men's Clinic. Feel good now. Curious about your levels? Walk into Hale Men's Clinic in Eugene, Bend, or Roseburg for your free testosterone test today. More info at halemensclinic.com.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Even though the weather is getting warmer, many people in our community are still vulnerable and need your help. Raven, Radical Assistance for Vulnerable Eugene Neighbors, is seeking donations to help those who need it most. Raven is asking for help with water bottles, raincoats, socks, shoes, blankets, tarps, and camping gear, or even a direct cash donation. Donations can be made at Raven distribution sites or via GoFundMe. For more information, visit our website, raveneugene.org. That's RAVEN, Eugene.org.
My name is Ruth Rusi. I'm a retired teacher. I'm 91 years old, and this is how I live united. I say retired, but not really. Once a week, I read books to children as part of United Way's education program. Reading to a child creates links between language and literacy. It creates a bond between grown-up and child. And believe it or not, it prepares them for a better academic future. Oh, we read about frogs and flies and pigs with wings, all sorts of juicy stuff. It's a joy to watch all those little faces. I figure I have the time and they have the need. And I've always believed that if we're not here to help each other, then what are we here for really? My name is Ruth Rusi. I help kids prepare to succeed in school. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Don't change the channel. Your radio might explode. Okay, not real, but you miss a minute of the drive, you might miss something, well, spectacular. The Drive is back on 102.9 FM and 1050 AM. The Sports Animal.
If you missed any of the program, earlier we had some scintillating discussion about our Big Ten power rankings in hour number 1. Austin Meek started out hour number 2, the 4 o'clock hour. And hour number 3, we had the Dean of Portland Sports, great Kerry Eggers. So great listens, and we were in there as well. So if you want to go back, the podcast will be up on wherever you're at, Sports Animal EUG, and then on the Twitterverse and YouTube, we'll have the video up as well as Twitch. So if you do that, great. Later on this week in the program, no show tomorrow, by the way. Again, no show tomorrow because we're going to be under construction. And when we come back, you'll see a lot of the same things you see on the YouTube right now. But we're going to have we're going to have different systems. We're going to be computerized a little bit more. Good, bad, or indifferent, doesn't matter. Paid for it, so that's happening. So we're going to have a new 1-800 number, a new local number, and we're going to have further ability to engage with you, the listening audience, which this is why we do what we do.
Makes me think we have the technology. Isn't that RoboCop?
I think it is something like it. Did you watch the original and then the new one that they did? Okay. I was setting you up for that. Yeah.
It was it supposed to be good?
I never watched the second one. The reason it came up is it came on one of my clips today that it was like a scene from the new RoboCop, and it was just, it didn't look good. And it had Michael Keaton in it, who I love Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
But he's played in some really weird roles, like supporting roles, not like the lead roles.
Yeah.
Like the best thing I love about Michael Keaton was like the role he had in The Other Guys.
Of course, yeah.
When he's quoting TLC.
Or TLC, sorry.
TLC. And it was just like he's doing the lyrics of TLC.
It's like, come on, man.
Mark Wahlberg keeps calling him up on it. That's a lyric. No, it's not.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, I always know Michael Keaton. He was the perfect, like, when I was young, he was Batman to me. And I know his Batman was just sort of not really like.
I liked him as Batman.
I thought he was great as Batman. I loved the one with Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy and then Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Freeze. Like, this was my childhood. So I have a strong affinity to those movies. But I do love the Dark Knight movies better. Like, those are better movies overall.
Christian Bale as Batman was the best, and Heath Ledger, God rest his soul. I wish he would have been able to fight his demons and hang around for a little while longer, because, going back to Brokeback Mountain and the other stuff that he had done, he was an incredible actor. Just
absolutely. And I think that with any of those movies, all superhero movies, it's as much about the villain as it is about the hero that makes the movie.
All right. So let's transition here on the Drive, the Sports Animal in Eugene, and then on the coast, Sports Animal is on KNCU, which is Fox Sports Newport. Glad to partner with them and more that are coming up. Stanford, the football players. Now, this is just the football players, by the way. They've formed a campus chapter of the College Football Players Association. Now, I was trying to educate you a little bit in the break about what this means. The Cardinal are the first team to partner with the organization, the CFPA, which aims to eventually unionize college athletes. So the players are not yet petitioning to form a union, okay, or to be deemed employees, but their announcement is the first step in building a structure for college athletes to collectively bargain like professional athletes. Now, the courts are still going to weigh on this, but most of the rulings have been in the players' favor. That's where NIL and collectives have come in that are paying players more. So now, if there are going to be some guardrails and to make it formally unionized, this is how they start doing it. So in professional sports, you hear about it all the time. It's like when we're talking about collective bargaining agreements, there are unions representing the players' side, and then the ownership weighs in. And so this is the first step of establishing that. Your initial thoughts on this? Is it kind of putting the guardrails up? Because I have mine.
My first initial thought is this is a very Stanford thing to do, right? Stanford would be the one that would do this, right?
Well, they're smart guys.
They're smart guys over there. It seems inevitable, right, that you're going to eventually have something like this. And I thought it would be something later. I thought my prediction is in 2030 that when the Big Ten TV deal is up, there's going to be a lot of big changes in college football. So I figured that would kind of be when the time is. It feels like you need a commissioner, right? If you're going to have a players union or you're going to have one coming up, that eventually you're going to need someone that's going to be able to speak for the NCAA. That's one person, right? Or you have a group of people that make those decisions. I don't know.
Correct.
So it seems to me like this is just the first step, and that there's going to be a series of responses on sort of all the different sides here.
So it seems like, and by the way, thanks for tuning in on The Drive. It's the Sports Animal, and I'm Danny. Right over there is Justin.
Hello.
Goose has left.
Goodbye.
Well, look, he's got some teleconference with his son and Drake, where he's going to school.
Dad stuff.
Yeah, so we got to let him go do that. That's I got the stuff for him on the old college thing.
I don't get to have these excuses. I don't have a child.
I won't get cracking. What are you waiting
Whoa.
for? So expanding on this a bit is I think there is an upswell in all of college athletics because of the chest beating and the hair pulling on NILs and collectives. And, we're talking about $500,000 contracts for kids to stay in school to play any respective sport, or $1 million deals and such. Is that we need to start putting a cap. You've heard about salary cap. You're not getting a salary cap without a union. You're not getting a salary cap without collective bargaining. You're not getting any of those things without two sides formally as an entire unit instead of each school doing their own thing, which is the way it is right now. Everybody's doing their own thing, and it's
just a Wild West.
It's the Wild West, absolutely. So this is the first step, and there is some support on both sides, both the player side and coaches, athletic directors. They say, hey, if this is the way that we can help kind of control this,
right, put guardrails,
by negotiating with the players in some sort of structure besides some obstacles, then let's do it. Because right now, this is what's interesting, in some states, public university employees are not allowed to unionize. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not.
So down at like the local level in education, teachers are allowed to unionize, but at the state university level, they are not on certain pieces of the structure.
So not everybody could just do this.
No, they can't, because they work for the government, and a government, that's a
Speaking
conflict.
of the government, do you think that this is another step along the way to having somebody that is in the government, that their specific job is to manage sports, basically, to have the government be somewhat involved in this revenue generation? Because it's one of the bigger revenue generating, say that 10 times fast. It's one of the biggest revenue generating things in the United States. So doesn't it make sense to have somebody that's sort of in charge of that?
Well, they're already starting that, though.
I know
but the bill is being put aside until the next session, so it's going to be months before it gets addressed again. But I think they need to clean up eligibility, which I think the 5 for 5 is probably going to do that. So now there's not going to be any more worrying about playing 4 games and having to declare for a medical red shirt or things like that. Medical red shirts will still happen, I believe, under that, but it just redshirting somebody where it's like, you haven't played, so I'm going to stash another year of eligibility. 5 for 5. You start, and you got 5 years. That's it. No more Cam McCormick, as we've talked about, who is the poster child for 9 years in college athletics.
How many years was he away from Oregon? It was like 4, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it was something ridiculous.
Well, he wasn't at Oregon to begin with. He came, and then
UCLA or something.
I think, then he left, and he kept getting years added on. Played 1 or 2 games here or there, or missed entire seasons. But that was, way the exception rather than the rule. I think this collective bargaining thing has got some legs to it. Whether people disagree with it or not, we are never, ever putting the toothpaste back in the tube when it comes to paying collegiate athletes. We're never going to go backwards. We're never going to go look in the history books and find a court that's going to say, nope, that's it. You cannot play. You cannot pay athletes anymore. That's just not going to happen.
We're not going back to 2010.
So here's my suggestion to everyone who might still be upset about this. And by the way, if you want to weigh in on this or anything else we've talked about on the program, or take us another direction, that's fine. We're pliable at 541-343-5673. That's the Oregon Man Clinics hotline, live from the Bigfoot Beverages studios. I've got my Diet Pepsi with me. We're all loaded up for the last 18 minutes of the program. Call on in. We'll discuss it together. But that's the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway to me on this is that this seems to be the next logical step. And so I'm for this.
I'm with you.
And so, okay, let's get here faster rather than later, because maybe there can be some things built into that are going to protect some universities. Now, think about this. If you collectively bargain something when it comes to when you can move or transfer or shuffle, then maybe we start retaining players at schools for longer periods of time instead of having a free-for-all. Now, losing a coach is one thing. If you lose a head coach, I think everybody, and that's the way it is, should be immediately eligible to transfer because you were working for a boss and being the coach, and that's who you came to work for. And if that person's gone, then you should have the ability to move. I'm fine with that in any situation. But just to go, you know what? They can't pay me what I think I'm worth. Now, in the open job market, that's fine. But in collegiate athletics, that just gets smarmy. It's like they invested in you when you were nobody. They helped build you up into somebody, and now you're going to leave them after 1 year because you know now you got somebody else waving 3 times the amount of money at you.
Yeah, I think people want common sense, right? I think everybody thinks that players should be most people at this point think players should be compensated in some way, shape, or form that isn't just getting education. But I think that when it all comes down to is that there needs to be a system created where when you're doing these NIL deals, how many of them have a second year? Almost none of them, because of like what you're saying. If a player is going to have a 2-year deal, then they're just totally messing up their potential at earning a lot more the second year, right? And so it's constantly about trying to get these second years on these deals. And I don't know how many coaches out there are able to get these players on a 2-year contract. So I think there needs to be a system where players can make that decision that's a realistic one. Because right now there isn't a realistic reason why a player wouldn't want to keep their options open. It's like what Steve was saying, and it's true about MLB players that are entering the draft, where if they have that second year of eligibility, if they can go to their senior season, they have more leverage. Where right now, there's no reason that a player is going to give themselves less leverage.
So when we come back, it's kind of dovetailing off of this. I don't know if you saw this comment. It just came out. It was in social media after an interview by Josh Pastner, who was a former Memphis and Georgia Tech coach, is now in his second season at UNLV. He made a comment that exploded and is now viral. And it talks about ownership in college athletics. We'll discuss that next on The Drive.
1050 AM, 1029 FM, and the SportsAnimalEugene.com. Other stations can say they cover the Ducks and Beavers, but we bring the receipts. You're listening to The Drive on the Sports Animal Eugene.
Ready, Rooter.
Honey, this is like my 4th mosquito bite this week.
Really? Huh, I don't have any.
Lucky you.
Well, you are sweeter than me.
Yeah, that must be it.
You know, if we have mosquitoes, there's likely standing water somewhere.
Ready, Rooter.
Which means we have bigger problems than mosquitoes.
Easy for you to say.
You do realize it's only the female mosquitoes that bite, right?
What?
Exactly. I'm going to call Ready Rooter.
If you're noticing standing water, rising water bills, slow drains, musty smells, damp spots, or gurgling toilets, you might have a plumbing issue. And with all the trees around here, roots can grow into sewer lines too. Call Ready Rooter today. We're available 24/7 for plumbing emergencies, and we're here to help you avoid one altogether. Visit ReadyRooterOregon.com. ReadyRooterOregon.com. Ready Rooter. Fast, reliable, and always ready to root for you. CCB 092524.
If your credit card bills have gotten out of hand, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it'll take years to get out of debt. Call Consolidated Credit now. They've helped over 10 million people without destroying your credit. They can reduce your interest rates, lower your total payments up to 50% to get you out of debt fast. For a free consultation, call Consolidated Credit now. The program works.
Call 800-499-4107. 800-499-4107. 800-499-4107.
Consolidated Credit Solutions Incorporated, 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33313. Licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Kansas CSO 0019051. Maryland DM 1492. Oregon DM 892. Licensed by the Virginia State Corporation Commission License Number DC83. Service may adversely affect the individual's credit. Non-payment of debts may lead to additional finance charges or collections activity, including legal action. Actual interest rates, length of program, and monthly payment reductions will vary by consumer and creditor. Yours could be higher or lower. Not a loan company. We do not lend money.
Rich is just a really good guy. The term good egg isn't enough to describe him. He's also certified organic and free range. Rich puts the cap back on everything. The toothpaste, the olive oil, the shampoo, everything. He lets his 10-year-old nephew beat him at virtual tennis, even though he can straight up slay his 10-year-old nephew in virtual tennis. When the toilet paper is running low, Rich replaces the roll on the actual holder, not just on the back of the toilet. Rich is texting and driving. Rich, no. What are you doing, Rich? I was just telling everyone how great you are. Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Nothing is too big for the sports animal to handle. That's what she said. You're home for me, Dan Patrick, 6 to 9 a.m. weekdays, and The Drive with Danny, Steve, and Justin, 3 to 6. This is the sports animal.
No show tomorrow here on Sports Animal. Drive will take a one-day hiatus,
taking a left turn
at Albuquerque. Dad joke coming up at the end of the show, and we'll be back on Wednesday with a brand new show. Adam Sussman will join us. Ken Woody, the coach, Ken Woody will be in the studios.
Yes. You know who loves dad jokes? Our engineers.
Oh.
They were telling me
that they love dad jokes?
Yeah. He made a dad joke to me, and he said, I love dad jokes. So I was like, well, that's great, because we got one at the end of every one of our programs.
Oh, so we have a community. I think we have jackets. So last segment here on the program, if you want to hop in, we have a few more times open for you on open phones before we return on Wednesday. And then a bounce of the week, we're going to have Neil Everett either Thursday or Friday. We'll have Landon Tegwall, a couple more guests as we wind out the first full week with, well, actually, no, we'll have no Mims tomorrow. No Mims on Wednesday.
Or Wednesday.
Yeah, because we're all not going to be here tomorrow. I'll get it straight.
Because no show tomorrow.
No show tomorrow. I know. When you get into a pattern,
listen to your own advice.
When you get into a pattern, it's hard sometimes to break it. So we'll try not to do that very often. In a statement posted on the UNLV social media channels, their basketball coach, Josh Pastner, had to walk back statements he made during a TV interview with KTNV in Las Vegas. Pastner used to coach at Memphis and Georgia Tech. He's in his second year at UNLV. And he said he was seeking out an investor who could help the Runnin' Rebs compete in the NIL area. Here is the exact quote. It's
great. Sorry for laughing, but it's pretty funny.
He says, I have told people, why buy the NBA team? Buy the college basketball team. You can be the owner of the UNLV Running Rebels men's basketball team, and it's a lot less expensive.
That's pretty explicit, I would say.
So
I don't know how much you could really parse from that one.
It went on fire. And today he had to clarify. He said he clarifies his stance, saying the Running Rebels are not for sale. My reference to a, quote, owner was meant to highlight the level of resources, sponsorships, and overall support needed to compete in today's evolving college athletics landscape, not to suggest that anyone could own the program.
I think his statement was pretty clear.
I think that statement was written by 5 other people and given to Josh to say.
Right, because it's just enough to make you go all right, fine. I guess, yeah, the commitment to the program that's necessary, whatever. No, I think that's a pretty hilarious walk back in terms of just pretty much saying, please buy our college basketball team, to saying, well, you can't buy a college basketball team. Well,
he said that they're trying to think outside the box and being unique.
I think he's feeling pretty comfortable in his second year.
So he's asking for, he says,
a little less comfortable.
He says, for $12 million, you can start competing against Kentucky, Duke, Arizona, and UCLA. Listen, UNLV built a program with Jerry Tarkanian that was national champions multiple times and competing almost every single year for decades. And I'm sure they were probably, it was Vegas. It was sexy. It was, he got kids that probably
they have good history,
incredible talent that probably couldn't play at any other school. And he got them there to Las Vegas. Now maybe the shines come off because everyone wants their hand out and they write a check. I think people also have this misperception about Vegas, it's just a wash in money. It's not. No, Vegas is not a wash in money in terms of you got a couple of big hitters like the Wynn Hotels or such, but they're not. They make their money, but they put their money in their pocket. They do not. They do not loosen the infrastructure.
I've heard of that before. There's a guy that's in Portland newly signed lease in Portland.
Oh yeah, that guy. Putting the money back in the pocket is a big deal in the entire state of Nevada, to be honest. So it was just I brought this up to you because it made me chuckle, because especially in our conversations before with like collectives and earlier with Tom Dundon and what we're seeing in other sports programs throughout the landscape, and UNC, you can't buy your way out of trouble sometimes.
There's a really good comedy that's going to be made at some point about being an athletic director during this period of college sports, because there's just some situations that are just too funny. And this is literally like, I could imagine this in some sort of comedy about like him just immediately walking back his statement, because it just simply, he was incredibly clear. So I think you're right. I think this is definitely just a good bit of a chuckle. I'm not sure if anything's going to actually this doesn't move the needle for anything, I think. But.
Well, so he as Pastner closed his full walk back of this statement by reiterating his comment that the commitment to the program and the team belongs to UNLV students, alumni, fans, and the Southern Nevada community. So again, further backtracking like crazy. I mean, he's got his heels worn out. He's been running backwards so fast.
Well, do you think that, and this is just talking out loud, that at some point we might see the Les Schwab UNLV basketball team?
I think this goes back to a discussion we were having the other
That's
day.
uniforms, though.
Okay, yeah, but the sponsorship, I don't know. I think there's. It's a great question, but you would have.
I think someone's going to do it. It's the Big 12.
But see, it's a state institution supported by taxpayers. It's different than a franchise, a professional franchise where you can sell whatever you want. You can sell naming rights.
Schools would do it.
Maybe you can sell naming rights to the field, but of course that's going right directly back to the school through a third entity like a Learfield or Playfly or something that has the rights to do that. So it's kind of adjacent to the university, but they can get around selling a property that's basically government funded and allowing somebody to put a name on it. You don't see that you have federal buildings or state buildings or county buildings that are named after a person, but they're not the Tostitos, Douglas County Courthouse.
Would you think it's fair to say that whatever we see in this sort of area, the uniforms, the stadium renaming, we're going to see it in professional sports before we see it in college sports? Or do you think we ever see something in college sports?
I absolutely think we'll see it in the professional. But then they're going to suss out the model, and then I think the biggest thing is how colleges see a patch is different on a uniform.
Totally
that's different. Naming rights for a field are different. But then you start getting into naming rights for a stadium. Now the stadium, that gets a little dicey as well. I mean, there's some.
Thinking about Japan baseball, the teams are named basically after the companies, right? So I mean, this isn't totally unprecedented.
Yeah,
in sports.
Well, I think we're there. I mean, just. So I think we're there.
The Nippon Ham Fighters. I'm pretty sure Nippon is the company name.
Because as we discussed as well earlier on this program, on a different show, is there's going to be a diminishing amount of return where you can only just have people donate so much at times. They're going to want to have some kind of return. Yeah. And that's through the business community. All right, here's our dad joke. Yeah, dad joke for the day is sexiest people tend to be runners, Justin. The sexiest people tend to be runners. You know why? Because they're quite attractive.
That's your Tracktown USA dad joke, everybody.
Here we go. That's out there for the general. All right. Talk to you on Wednesday. No show tomorrow. We'll have a big new show on Wednesday, 3 to 6 here on The Drive for Baby J. For Goose, for the guys back in Studio B. That's Dom and Blaze. I'm Doc. Smiley face, someone else today. So do you. Peace.